up, everybody, and welcome back to the Ball Game Podcast. I am the innocent bystander, Matt Sullivan.
I'm Tom.
All right. Well, welcome to today's episode. It is by far probably the most packed episode of the Ball Game Podcast that we've ever had. We have top 10 point guards list. We have Western Conference preview. We have obviously our start sits. We have to recap the Thursday night football game, and we also have our pick'em for this week for the NFL. So we got both today. We got NBA and we have NFL. So it's going to be a whole lot of stuff. Be prepared. Be in for a long one. If you got nothing to do today, sit down, tune into the Ball Game Podcast, lay down, go grab yourself some, I don't know, hot chocolate or something. It's not even that cold, but go ahead and do that. Maybe coffee. Pour yourself a cup of coffee because, you know, you got to stay awake for this whole thing. But yeah.
Even if you are doing something important, stop.
If you're at work, tell your boss you have to leave because you have to go watch the Ball Game Podcast right now.
If they don't understand, quit.
Yeah, no, they're just not the right job for you then.
Pretty much.
All right, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that stuff before we even get into this. So real quick, how's everybody's week going? How we all doing?
My week's cool. No free promo. My week's cool, you know? I'm excited for next week because the NBA will be back.
Tom, I got to ask, are you still in college?
Am I still in college?
Yes.
I am.
Did you have midterms?
We should know this about each other.
I feel like we should. Did you have midterms week?
As a marketing major, I don't really have midterms.
Oh,
I just kind of have my first test of the semester. Usually lines up with everyone else's midterms.
Sick.
So yeah,
like projects, right?
Yeah, mostly presentations and shit. And you know, sometimes I have to like try and color in the lines, and it's really hard.
That's
life
difficult.
as a marketing major.
Real
man.
difficult
Can't
stuff. It sounds like
too much.
Yeah, it sounds great. Chris, I know you are far done with college. You're a smart guy. We decided to take our time.
I got held back.
Yeah, same here.
I'm a super senior.
Same here. I am a super senior as well. Year 5. But yeah. All right. I guess without further ado, we jump right into this stuff, and I feel like we go from number 10 and then we count down all the way to number 1.
That makes sense, but I feel like the back end is more controversial.
Yeah.
So like, should we start with 1 through 5?
You're so right. You are
order 1 through
absolutely 5. Right. I kind of I'd rather go like
5 to 1 or
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but
okay.
like one at a time.
Yeah,
not 1 through 5.
Right.
All right. So start off. Who do you guys have at number 1? I think it should be consensus. It should be.
It's Wardo, Stephen Curry.
Yes, it is.
Stephen Curry.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if one of you guys were gonna potentially put Luka at number 1.
There might be an argument for it, but like Steph, it's more of an argument of is he the best player in the world, not is he the best point. He's the
agreed.
best point guard.
Or it's more of an argument of is he the greatest point guard ever?
Yeah.
Then is he the best point guard in the NBA?
Unless you're Paul Pierce and call him a wing, but
oh my God, bro! Paul Pierce
that.
has the greatest NBA basketball takes I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we have number 1. Obviously, we just said number 2. I think we just gave it away. Number 2 is also consensus. It's Luka Doncic.
That's my number 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now we move on from number 2. Now I think maybe we disagree slightly. I'm very high on a certain player that maybe you guys don't have at this point. My number 3 is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
My number 3 is Damian Lillard.
I figured that.
My number 3 is Damian Lillard too.
I sat there and I waited. I think it's really a coin flip. I don't think you can get mad either way. I mean, Shai was all NBA.
I think you
team for a
can.
reason. Yeah.
I don't think
you think it's disrespectful to say Shai's better than Dame?
I think it is.
How?
Shai
Going into the season, really?
Shai hasn't done shit in the playoffs.
But when has he had the opportunity to do so?
It's not about having the opportunity. I understand he hasn't had the opportunity, but we can't rank him over a guy who has a proven playoff resume. He's been to a conference finals.
I'm ranking him based on what I saw last season and what I'm expecting this season as well.
What I saw last season was Dame have arguably a career year
and played 30 games. Like, I know it was like part of it was being shut down, or maybe it was like 50 games, whatever it was.
58.
58. Okay,
it's respectable.
That's respectable enough. Shai, with a super young Oklahoma City Thunder team, put up 30-plus, led them to the play-in when most people didn't even expect them to be anywhere near that, and was clear cut entering the conversation of top 10 player in the entire league. Like, I have a bold prediction that I'll talk about later, because obviously this is bold predictions too. And I have Shea so high in my top 10 ranking that, like, I personally think this is the year that it's like, it's so clear cut. He's the best player on a legitimate playoff team. Like, that's where I think Shea is. And now Damian Lillard has to take a slight step back behind Giannis.
I mean, Shea would take a slight step back behind Giannis,
But he
too.
doesn't have to
Right.
because he's not behind Giannis.
I didn't even.
Right, but
That's
I don't think that matters.
yeah. I don't
Like,
think Dame playing with Giannis makes a difference in how good of a player he is or how much better.
Dame's
he is.
resume is too good. It's too good to put Shea ahead of him. He just averaged the most points in his career. He averaged 32 points.
I think Shea is the better basketball
Shot
player next
37%
season.
from 3.
I genuinely just think Shea is the better basketball
What does
player
Shea
next
do
season.
better?
Defense. Getting to the rim. Finishing at the rim.
Yeah, but
I
I,
think
mean,
the
when you
finishing is closer than you think.
yeah,
It is. No, it is.
when you can shoot from 35 feet out, you're not going to go to the rim as much. That
You
was
know, I
that was
mean-
my That was my thought process. It was I just like Dame's volatile shooting capability a little
Okay.
more than Shea's creativity.
Dame's a
Like-
3-level scorer.
Yeah,
I mean, Shea could shoot the 3-ball too now.
not like Dame.
Not
bro.
like Dame. I'm not saying like Dame, but
Shea's
let's not
a
act like.
3, but
Yeah,
Shea's
he's-
not a 3-level.
he-
and that's okay. He still averages fucking 30. Like, he's still great. He's number 4 on my point guard list.
right
He's still great.
on a stack.
Dame
point
is my
guard
number
list.
4.
He's not a
yes.
3-level scorer, Shea. He's a 2-level scorer. He's a mid-range assassin, and he finishes around the
You have
rim
to
great.
respect his 3-pointer, but you have to respect most NBA
How
players'
many threes
3-pointer.
does
you
he
know?
even shoot a game? Like 4
Probably
a
not.
game?
Yeah,
Let me
probably
tell
not a
you
lot.
right now.
Attempts like 4.
But when you're
Shea.
like you said, when you're scoring 30 points a game at 2 levels,
Yeah,
why
yeah, I mean-
are you going to take a ton of threes? You know,
He averaged 31 last year, 31.4 in 68 games. He took, 2.5 threes per game.
Right.
last
So he's
season.
not a 3-level scorer. That's
2.5
okay.
threes.
That's okay to not be a 3.
Yeah,
He's still an
absolutely.
elite scorer, one of the best in the league.
yeah.
But in terms of being a 3-level scorer, he's not there yet.
Man had 11 free throws per game last season. That's also crazy.
Dame got to the line 10 times a game last year.
I don't know. I
Shot 11
personally,
threes a game.
I
shot
also-
37%.
I've also
That's
always,
unbelievable.
I've always favored the bigger scoring guards
I
too.
do too. You know, I'm a fucking Ben Simmons truther. Like, I love Cade Cunningham. I love big
of course.
guards. But Damian Lillard's resume is it's just too good. Especially, like I said, what he's done in the playoffs. Shea has had 2 playoff runs. One as a rookie, one where he was the third fiddle, honestly, behind Chris Paul and D. Schroed.
Yeah, I remember that. I forgot that OKC team was even a
Right,
thing.
like-
Right.
I remember him being with
Like,
the
I
Clippers.
know Shea's been to the playoffs, but Shea hasn't been to the
I
playoffs.
want to
He hasn't been in the playoffs very
what was
long.
his
right.
first playoff?
Like, he hasn't
run, like
been to the
Yeah,
playoffs.
he hasn't.
He's been there.
19.
Yeah, but he hasn't had nearly the amount of pressure that Lillard has had on
in
him
his first
in the
playoff
playoffs.
run. He averaged 16.3. Obviously, he was like, you could argue he was the second best player on that team. 43.3 from the field, 40% from 3 on 5 attempts. That was through 7 games, obviously, in the Houston Rockets series, I believe it was. Yeah, it was the Houston Rockets in that one, I think. I don't know. I personally think there's another jump here too, and he averaged 31 last year. So that's why I'm like, all around Shea's game, I prefer that than I do what Damian Lillard brings. Obviously, I know the 3-level capabilities, but also I know that Shea will bring it on the defensive side of the ball far better
Yeah.
than Damian Lillard will as well. So if
Yeah,
I'm
it's
getting
definitely,
30
like-
plus and still getting a good defender, I'm going to take that.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, like, Shea could go on and lead the Thunder, like you said, to a playoff series win, and then the conversation might change.
Right.
But
Until then,
if you look on the other side of things, I know he's doing it as a number 2, but if Dame goes out and wins a ring this year, then it's
There's no
you
conversation.
can't even have the
Yeah.
conversation,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah.
It's just, Shea is a great player. It's just, he's too young right now to put him ahead of Dame, who's been
Yeah.
doing this for 10 plus years.
I also have him as 4 at 4.
Yeah.
I know you guys said that, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Dame at 4, and this was like splitting hairs for me. Like, it was super close, obviously, but I just ended up going with the guy that I know has the better two-way potential and has shown it in the past as well. So that's the only reason, primarily why I took Shea. All right, number 5. I think I know who you go with.
I do.
I don't know who you go with. but I'm on your side with this. I have Trae Young at number 5.
It's Trae Young. It has to be Trae Young at number
I have
5.
De'Aaron Fox.
Why?
Whoa.
Why?
Whoa.
Why?
Why?
Fox led a historically good offense last year. He's, I think, far better defensively. And Trae's passing is a lot better, obviously. Playmaking is way better.
You're not going to like where I have De'Aaron Fox.
Really?
You are not going to like where I have De'Aaron
Fox. Is a
Fox.
hooper, man.
I love De'Aaron Fox. That's my
I know
guy.
you do.
That's
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
my
I know
guys
you do.
too.
There are 2 guys that I thought for damn sure he would be behind. And that was Trae, and the next one was Ja for me. That was my clear-cut top 6, in my personal opinion.
Also, the thing with Fox is, like, yeah, he had a great year last year. If you want to say he had a better year than Trae Young last year, I wouldn't agree, but I wouldn't be mad at it. But it's kind of the same thing as the Damon Shea thing. And, you know, I could even argue that I'd put Trae above Shea for that exact reason, is I've seen Trae Young lead a team to the conference finals and honestly have a chance to go to the finals if he didn't hurt his ankle.
Yeah.
I mean, he dropped fucking 40 in one of those games in the conference finals versus the Bucks. So I just think they're like in the same tier of player, but you have to give Trae Young that respect because of what he's done in the playoffs.
Chat is blowing up right now. I see.
Yeah. So
I don't know
in there.
what's happening in there right now. But I'm going to get in here so I could read any of these comments. It was sleazy. Let's see. Why it's really hard to rank him.
Sweezy says that it's hard to rank Trae because he's historically one of the worst defenders and he values two-way ability a lot.
Like when I look at point guards, I don't even because I like Trae. I don't, not that I don't care about his defense, but I think at the point guard position, it's way more important what you bring to the table offensively. And I don't know, man. I saw a lot from Fox this year, and I think he could have the better year coming up.
So I love De'Aaron Fox, and it was really hard for me for the 7 through 10. But I watched Trae lead a team to the conference finals, past our Knicks.
That's fair.
One of the
Became
best
our fathers, by the
through
way.
their first 5 years we've ever seen in NBA history.
Yeah, that's
which
fair.
doesn't get spoken enough about how great of a playmaker Trae Young is. The best lob thrower, honestly, arguably in history. This man,
James Harden.
I think last year Trae Young had the 2 highest lob assist duos with John Collins and Clint Capella. Like, that's impressive. His gravity in the pick and roll to either get to the floater or be able to throw a pinpoint lob, like, it's unmatched.
James Harden is the other one that I would think of because I remember just the millions of James Harden
just be
to
the Clint Capella effect, honestly.
Clint Capella lobs.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. Clint Capella's in both of these situations. And then John Morant for me. In the past, I have been a John Morant hater.
Wait, so you have Ja at 6?
I have Ja at 6.
You have Ja at 6. I have Trae at 6.
Okay, so you have Ja at 7.
Yes.
Okay, so for me, it was I have been a Ja hater in the past, but he's one of the most explosive athletes we've ever seen. Ever since he stepped into a Grizzlies uniform, all they've done is win. And for me, I obviously value the winning. They've been relatively successful in the playoffs at different points. One of the best playmakers in the league, along with being one of the most explosive scorers in the league. Like, he's another guy where you were talking about 3-level scoring. He doesn't have that yet, and that's okay. But he's a solid enough mid-range shooter, and there's nobody that's stopping that dude from getting to the rim. Nobody.
And he's another guy where the playoff stuff comes into play.
Yes.
Because he's been there 3 times, and every time, besides this past year, but also he got hurt, in Game 2 against the Lakers this past year. But every time he's been to the playoffs, he's been a playoff riser. I mean, his first ever playoff series, the man averaged 30. Not only has he been great in the regular season, but the ability to rise and increase your level of play come playoff time. I mean, Ja's a special talent, man.
Agreed. So, for exactly the reasons that you just stated, playoff riser. My number 7
right? Oh no, that's 7. Yeah, go ahead.
is Jamal motherfucking Murray.
Oh.
The man just won an NBA championship as the second best player on the team. And granted, we're all going to say behind the best player in the world. That's an argument against him that just goes to show the mind meld that the two of them have. And it was in one of the most dominant fashions we've had in recent memory. That they just walked through the playoffs and had, what, a 16-3 record? Which is ridiculous. But to give numbers, he averaged 26.1, 5.7, and 7.1 on 47.3% from the field, 39.6 from three-point line, and 92.6 from the free throw line. And was a net positive on the defensive side of the ball as well. So I have Jamal Murray at my number 7 spot. His regular season last year, he was coming back from the torn ACL. And then in the playoffs, all we saw was once again Jamal Murray stepping up to a completely different level in the playoffs. And that I value more so than anything else because that's when the lights are the brightest. As a certain someone like Ortiz has said, that's when the lights are the brightest. And look, if you could perform in those moments, I value that far more than anything else. So Jamal is my number 7.
I have Ja at 7. The reason I put Fox over Ja, because I know a lot of people might flip out about that, but I think what I like more about Fox, I will say, is he is super athletic. I don't know that he's not as explosive as Ja Morant, of course, but I think because of that, he relies more on creativity and, especially his mid-range jumper and things like that, where Ja has the explosive athleticism that not many athletes have at all. So still a primetime big deal player. But yeah, I have Ja at 7.
My number 7, this is where I put Kyrie Irving.
Okay, wow. Nice.
I don't think it's really a wow.
It's not a wow.
Kyrie Irving.
It's a wow for me because this was incredibly difficult. He was the guy that I left off my list.
That's insane. That's actually absurd. That's nuts.
I left Kyrie Irving.
I left Kyrie off only because I had him as a 2 guard.
Okay.
Which I probably should have seen that coming. But
yeah.
I left Kyrie off my list only because of the fact that once he got to Dallas, they were not successful. And I know I'm not blaming that solely on Kyrie, and I know damn well he's going to make that look foolish, and he'll be a top 10 point guard, arguably even top 5. He could step into that category, like, for sure. But I left him off simply because of the situation that happened last year. He didn't play in the playoffs, and that mattered to me. So that's how I felt on that. Is he more talented than 7 through 10? Absolutely, no question.
Yeah, he's a guy for me who just, the resume, you can't keep him off a top 10 list. Even, Jamal Murray, if you look at, recently, obviously this past year, Jamal Murray did the thing and won the championship, but we've seen Kyrie do that.
Kyrie went head-to-head with prime Steph.
Like, we've seen Kyrie do exactly what Jamal Murray did.
Yeah.
Plus, Kyrie's overall regular season resume is way greater than Jamal Murray's.
But I wasn't ranking them based off of what I've seen in the far past from them. I'm looking at last season, and I'm looking at
just the far past. I think your whole resume matters.
No, for sure.
Same thing with Dame. Like in Kyrie this past year, it's not like he was bad. He was a 27 point per game guy on 38% from 3. And the numbers didn't take any type of drop. He dropped by 0.1 points when he got to Dallas compared to Brooklyn, but he was an all-star last year. Like, it's not like Kyrie was bad last year. I just think we've seen Kyrie do what Jamal Murray did last year. Obviously, it was a while back, but we've seen it and we know Kyrie's capable of doing so. And
100%.
Kyrie's regular season resume just isn't even comparable to Jamal Murray's. Like, they're not even in the same stratosphere. Even last year in the regular season, it wasn't close.
For sure. But Kyrie didn't play in the playoffs, and that made a difference for me. And I pretty much, I'll tell you right now, Chris, I wiped out the rest of their careers. I didn't rank them based off of, like, how great they are. I also just ranked them mostly off of what I saw last season and what I expect
that's
season.
what I went to. Yeah.
It's tough, though, because it's like, if you put... So, all right. Let's get into it. I was planning my monologue for this because I knew at some point in the episode I would have to go here. So, you especially, you wanted us all to give your boy his respect, Nikola Jokic, right? That's all you wanted. You want us to say he was the best player in the world. You want us to say he could do it in the playoffs, all that stuff, right? He got that. He's getting his respect. He won the ring. He should have been the MVP last year.
Agreed.
So, what makes Nikola Jokic so great? It's a rhetorical question. His greatest attribute is his playmaking. So, who's the biggest beneficiary of that? Another rhetorical question. His teammates, right? You can't playmake to yourself.
Right.
You got to playmake to your teammates. And we've seen that.
Perfect timing for this.
Right. He took Compazzo, I forget his first name, Compazzo and Will Barton to the playoffs. So obviously if you plug in a player who's significantly better than those guys like Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., you get Aaron Gordon for a full year, KCP for perfect fit, the results are going to be different. You're going to be one of the best teams, if actually the best team in the NBA for the entirety of the season. But I look at Kyrie Irving and I say, you know, if you plug Kyrie Irving into that Jamal Murray role, and I know it's a hypothetical, but Kyrie Irving would do that role better because he's just a better basketball player than Jamal Murray. He's a better creator. He's a better shooter. He's a better finisher. Their defense is both kind of a wash, right? They're both not terrible defenders. They're not bottom of the barrel. I think they could both hold their own.
We've seen Kyrie play good defense, though.
I was about to say, I have seen Kyrie play solid enough defense in the
Even
past.
Jamal Murray, too.
Yeah.
I've seen Jamal Murray.
Jamal played good defense in the
I've
playoffs.
seen him, turn it right.
When he needed to.
So both of them, I think the defense is just a wash in the conversation. I just think, so we're talking about from an offensive standpoint, I just think, honestly, Kyrie wipes him. And it's really not that close. Kyrie's a better shooter, better finisher, probably a better playmaker. And I get it. Jamal Murray did it last year. Kyrie didn't even make the playoffs last year, so it's easy to go off that. But, I think the context matters a little bit in this situation. We wanted to give Jokic all that respect for being so great and such a great playmaker. So then when we're ranking his teammates, the context has to matter there. Not just Jamal Murray, everyone. Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., KCP, all those guys. Wherever you want to rank them, the context of he played with Nikola Jokic has to matter in those conversations.
Right.
Because that's what we wanted, right? We wanted to give Nikola Jokic his respect.
But he can get his respect while also not diminishing what Jamal did in that point. Like, not just saying he's a byproduct of Nikola Jokic, which he likely is. Some of the numbers are likely byproducts of Nikola Jokic, for sure. I don't disagree with that. But he just so happens to be in that perfect situation. And Kyrie isn't, which it sucks. Like, of course, I would love to say if Kyrie was in this situation, he would do better. Likely, yes, but he's not. So I can't base my rankings off of the fact that Kyrie Irving is not in the situation with Nikola Jokic. So I have to look at this, be like, okay, Jamal Murray is doing this in the situation that he's currently in. That's how I'm going to rank him.
Who's a better basketball player?
I just said skill-wise, he's better than all of those guys. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Right. So then, I don't know. To me, it's just how can I rank Jamal Murray ahead of Kyrie Irving?
Could you throw this out for me in there? Thank you, buddy.
When I know he's a better basketball player, and I know that if he was in the same situation, the results would be the same, if not better.
But he's not, so I can't say that.
Plus, we've seen Kyrie in that role, in that situation, arguably be better than Jamal Murray.
He's about to be in that situation again with a guy that we want to call a generational playmaker too.
That's fair.
So
we do have to see it.
So I want to see that happen. If I see, as I said, I think Kyrie is one of the most skilled basketball players in the world, no question. He's far more skilled than any of the guys that I just listed 7 through 10. You could say he's more skilled than even John Morant. So, but I'm not just basing this off of skill. So, like, what kind of impact do you make on your team? And it just so happened that Jamal Murray became the second best player on a team that just won a championship in the past season. That's what makes the biggest difference to me. So that's the only reason I argued that.
I don't know, though. I get what you're saying, but my point is we've seen Kyrie do that, what you're saying. We've seen Kyrie do what your reasoning is for ranking Jamal Murray ahead of him. Plus, you even just admitted that Kyrie Irving's just flat out a better basketball player. So there's no reason to rank Jamal Murray.
But just because you're a more skilled basketball player doesn't necessarily mean that you would rank.
Fuck the skill
but
shit.
That's a fact.
I know, but fuck the word skill. Just take that word out of the equation. Who's a better basketball player? Not who's more skilled. Who's a better basketball player?
I mean, I feel like those are one and the same.
Right. So that's my point. Jamal Murray, yes, he did it this past year, but my point is we've seen Kyrie do exactly that. Plus, overall, Kyrie's just a better basketball
I'm not
player.
disagreeing, but the last time Kyrie did exactly that was 2016.
Man, it really was a long time ago.
It was 2016. Like, that was the last time Kyrie Irving was a legitimate number 2 on a championship level team. And then the Boston debacle happened. And if we're going to go through the entirety of the resume, absolutely the Boston debacle happened, right? He was supposed to be the best player on a championship level team. He goes out, and now you have the Boston Celtics without him, without Gordon Hayward, taking the Cavs to 7 games. Okay, so we move forward with that. The Brooklyn debacle happens, right? Which we very well could say that they would have won a title had he not got injured and had James Harden not got injured.
Debacle, it's not like.
But I wouldn't even say he was the second best player on that team at the time, because Harden was playing better basketball than him.
It's debatable. Harden barely played.
It's debatable, but yeah.
Harden's numbers that.
No, I agree. Harden was an MVP candidate
Yes.
until he got hurt. I agree
right.
with that, but like the same could be said for Jamal Murray. Would have been the 3rd best player on that team. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But he was just the second best player on a championship team this past season, is what
I know,
I'm saying.
but
I'm not having to look back
Kyrie
to
on Brooklyn
2016.
was great though.
I'm not
like
saying
they
otherwise.
just like it was just unfortunate circumstances. Everything that happened. You know what I'm
For
like?
sure, 100%. As I just said, for sure, no question. But
Like, it's not like we watched Kyrie in Brooklyn and said, you know what? Since he's a number 2 on that team, he's not good enough as a number 2 to win a championship. That was never the question.
it was just we could get James Harden, so we're going to get James Harden.
Right.
Yes.
And not even without James Harden last year before he got traded. Like, they were the championship favorite before he decided he didn't want to play there anymore.
And then look at what happened. Exactly my point. You're right.
Like,
You're
I'm
so
talking
you
about,
just
right. But I'm talking about on the court. Like, I can't defend what Kyrie Irving does off the court. I can't. But on the court, like, he's a number 2 option.
for sure. I completely agree.
Like, he's a championship level number 2 option.
Agreed, but I just watched someone do that.
So then what-
Which is why I have him so high.
So the reason Jamal Murray's a better player is because he just did it. That's what
Literally
you're
just
saying?
now
Okay.
did it.
Oh my
So
God.
going into the season, I
When
look at
post
it
this
like,
on TikTok, they better all fucking be in those comments saying recency bias.
Yeah.
sure, it's recency bias.
That's
but
literally the
I'm
definition of
literally
recency bias.
But I'm ranking my point guards going into the season when I just watched Jamal Murray go fucking nuts for an entire playoff run. Like, I watched that. So, of course, there's going to be recency bias when I'm ranking a list of point guards going into this coming season. I'm not saying there's no recency bias. There absolutely is. But we're talking about Kyrie Irving being ranked ahead of this guy, which is fine, and I understand that, and I'm not mad at that. But we're talking about him being ranked above this guy when the last time we watched Kyrie Irving be the second option and win a championship was 2016.
I don't know.
That's it.
I know, but like, it's so hard to win a championship. Like, I can't take anything away from Kyrie Irving because he hasn't won a championship in recent memory as a number 2 option. I can't take it away. It's so only one team wins a championship every year. You know, it's not like Kyrie Irving isn't a championship level number 2, and I know Jamal just did it, but like I've been trying to say, like, Kyrie's better at
We're
doing
arguing
it.
Jamal, and I have 3 more guys
So what
below
I'll say
him
is-
that
what-
don't
what I
have
wanna say
Kyrie
is
on this list.
The thing about Jamal versus Kyrie is I think Kyrie can go to more teams and be a number 2 than Jamal Murray can. That's not. I don't think that's a question. How many teams is Jamal a legitimate number 2?
Ooh,
And they're legit title
he's just a
contenders.
product of Jokic.
But we don't have to look at that hypothetical. We don't
Damn.
have to.
I like that,
Because it just so
Tom. I like
happens
that.
that
I
Jamal
guess.
Murray
I mean,
is next to
That was
probably the greatest passer we've ever seen in our
No,
lives.
I'm not
Like,
saying
we
that
can
should
even
take
I can
away
even
from
argue
him.
that
I'm
for
not saying
Jokic.
that should take away from him, but like Chris says, context matters. So
Yeah.
if you're gonna look at yeah, I guess.
Right, that's
yeah.
my point. Kyrie Irving is just infinitely the better number 2
That's just what I'm trying to say, yeah.
They're both number 2 options. Neither of them is number 1.
Okay,
right?
but okay, all right,
Kyrie Irving
ready?
is just infinitely the better
Ready?
option.
We want to talk about, but here's my argument, right? We want to talk about how Jamal is the second option to Jokic and just won a title. Can you guys remind me who the fuck was Kyrie Irving's first option when he won a title? Y'all like to call him what?
Blanking
the
on me.
GOAT?
That's
The
right.
GOAT?
Right, that's the point, though. Right, that I've been saying.
But I don't want people
seen,
diminishing what
right,
Jamal's
we've
doing.
seen
Kyrie's ring was also 3-1 though.
Right. No,
What
I'm
does
not.
that have to do with anything?
I'm just saying,
You're
like,
next to the GOAT.
I'm not diminishing
go ahead, yeah.
Jamal. What I'm saying is, though, exactly, we've seen Kyrie Irving in the same exact scenario. Because we want to talk about Jokic having a top 5 peak ever, which is what his last season was.
Okay,
his
but
peak,
are
right?
we going to say that Jokic's peak is better than LeBron's peak?
No,
of course not.
no. But there at that time, because that wasn't even LeBron's peak. LeBron's peak was in Miami. So
LeBron's peak
for
is his
argument's
fucking
sake, for
career.
argument's sake.
obviously, I'm taking LeBron over Jokic. I'm not delusional.
LeBron's
there.
Cleveland run,
But
I'm still
their
taking over Jokic.
production at the times of those championships was, right there. Jokic arguably had one of the best playoff run we've seen in our lifetime last season. Like, the production was obviously. I think LeBron's a better player than Jokic. I'm not a Jokic
Right.
guy, but like what they were putting up on the basketball court was right there. So that's why I keep saying we've seen Kyrie in that exact same situation.
Yeah.
We've seen him alongside one of the greatest to ever do it. The same thing with Jamal Murray. We just saw him alongside one of the greatest to ever do it. And that's my whole point, is that Kyrie Irving is just infinitely better at that.
My point in the hypothetical was, like we said, how many guys do we think? Because that's been like the talk of the offseason with Jamal Murray.
How many
is
guys
that
could do what
could Jamal Murray did? Now in 2016, granted he had LeBron James, not taking away anything. Kyrie was not just as important. How many guys are going on that team and doing what Kyrie Irving did? And that was 7 years ago.
Right.
So
Dropping 41 points in a game 6 when you trying to come back from down 3-1.
playing to the level of LeBron James,
Right.
who was
Not
playing.
many guys are doing that.
But again, that was 7 years ago. So but it just speaks to it just speaks to what we've seen Kyrie do,
Right.
and he's not that player.
Kyrie
But
Irving's gotten worse as a
No,
basketball
that's what I'm
player. I
saying,
think
yeah.
Kyrie Irving's arguably gotten better as a basketball player since then.
since playing
He
with
just hasn't
LeBron,
been
he's
in the situation to win.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Now, I want to see that.
Oh, we're
now.
gonna see it.
Okay. And then
we're gonna
at
see
the end of
it.
the season, I'll say, okay, my list was completely wrong,
Yep.
blah, 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 whatever. But until I fucking see that, I'm not changing my stance on Jamal Murray or Kyrie Irving. So,
Well, my number 8's Jamal Murray.
after all that. All right, so I've made a change. You guys have talked me into Kyrie Irving, for sure, now that I think about it. The guy that I'm removing off of my list is James Harden. I'm going to take Harden off my list. I'm placing Kyrie in my top 10, and I'm going to get to where I have him. But at number 8, part of this is bias. I'm going to fucking say it straight out. Jalen Brunson,
Wait, ahead of Kyrie?
yes,
Okay.
is my number 8 point guard.
Jalen
Jalen fucking Brunson.
What are we doing, bro?
What?
What are we doing?
He was just the
Jalen
best player on a
Brunson.
not
Oh,
championship.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
championship.
Oh.
Best player on a team that made it to the second round and gave the final Eastern Conference team that represented the conference in the final. Oh my God. See, I'm already stumbling over my argument. Look, Jalen Brunson, just better than Kyrie Irving, period.
I have Kyrie Irving at 8. I just changed my list as well. Better than I'm the biggest Knicks fan I know. Well, no, Trunks is because he's delusional. But
You want to hear something crazy?
He's in the chat.
I didn't even consider Jalen Brunson. for
Really?
this list.
What?
He didn't even cross. And I have 10 guys here who I'd take over Jalen Brunson. I probably have 11 and 12 too, who also are not Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson will probably be my 13th.
Bro. Come on, Chris.
Like I'm not taking Jalen Brunson over De'Aaron Fox.
He just did more. He had similar numbers throughout the season, and then in the postseason did more.
I mean, they average like similar amounts in the playoffs, and De'Aaron Fox definitely they did. I'm looking at
didn't.
it right now.
They really
both-
didn't.
They both
The
averaged
efficiency
27.
the efficiency numbers are completely different. Completely different.
De'Aaron Fox shot 33% from 3 in the playoffs. Jalen
Don't
Brunson
just go.
shot-
Don't
Jalen
just go to
Brunson
3-point
shot
shooting.
32. I'm just doing one by one. Jalen
Okay.
Brunson shot 32% from 3. Fox shot 42% overall, and Brunson shot 47% overall. So he definitely shot better from the field. But I mean, they both averaged 27. Brunson, yeah, he won a series, but I mean, let's be real. De'Aaron Fox played a significantly better team in the first round that he lost to, that he took to 7 while he was injured.
Okay,
I
but
have Fox at 5.
let's
You're not
also
convincing me.
talk about. Let's also and look, I have De'Aaron Fox currently at 10 because I put Kyrie Irving on this list and I have Kyrie at 9. Look at the numbers that
Jalen Brunson wasn't even the best player on his team.
Yes, he fucking was. Stop it.
Julius Randle was all NBA.
Stop it. Stop it right now. Don't do that.
Get to the
Brunson
postseason. Get to the
should've been-
postseason, then talk to me. Get to the postseason, then we'll then say that
If we
again.
want to talk numbers, let's talk about the playoffs, and then you tell me who the best player on the Knicks was. It was pretty fucking obvious when you have the
Brunson
guy
averaged 30 against
dropping,
Miami.
bro. Yeah, give me a second. Show playoff series. Ready? Miami. Here were his averages: 31 points per game, 6.3 assists, and 5.5 rebounds on 50.4% shooting from the field and 34.7 from 3. That was what Brunson did in the second round series against the eventual Eastern Conference representative in the finals.
Well, it wasn't
Not because of him,
Bro,
They
it
averaged
wasn't
like
good at all.
96
What do you
points a
mean?
game.
He had a game
What's he
where he had
supposed
like
to do?
43 and they had 92 points as a team.
What more can he do, though?
No. I'm just trolling. Like Jalen
No, I
Brunson's a
know.
great player. I just prefer De'Aaron Fox.
And that's fair.
It's close.
It's like
But
it's
having
like we said. This
Brunson off the list entirely is criminal, Chris. That is actually criminal in my personal opinion.
Fox is my 9, and then my 10 is James Harden. I just think James Harden's better than Jalen Brunson.
I just can't have Harden over Brunson with the playoff run that he just had. I can't do it.
James Harden had some really good games.
James
Bro.
Harden. I was looking at the numbers
but
this
do we
morning.
wanna
James
look at
Harden.
his overall
He had a
playoff
couple
numbers?
40 balls, but he also had like 10,
Do we
12.
wanna look at
you
the
know,
overall
like
I think the
numbers?
overall James Harden playoff numbers aren't terrible.
No, they're
probably
dog
not. When you
shit.
look at that,
I
no, but
promise
when
you,
you
'cause I
look,
looked at it.
yeah, when you look game by game though, he had against Boston. I looked against Boston. I didn't look the first round, but against Boston, he had I think 2 40 balls. But like maybe 3 games where he scored under 20.
And first of all, let's also mention the fact that the supporting cast around James Harden was far superior. Far superior.
No, it was.
I'm sorry, and I get it. Part of me is being a Knicks fan, and I want to be biased, and I want to have Jalen ranked so high, but that playoff run that I just watched was fucking ridiculous from Jalen Brunson. A guy that, and it also, by the way, if you put these numbers behind James Harden, we wouldn't even be arguing. He'd be higher up on the list, if we're being entirely honest. But it's just because it's Jalen Brunson. It's the name. We aren't ready to give the man credit yet because
I think everyone's ready.
I mean, he got $26 million a year. I think he's
No,
ready to.
But that's the
get that
thing
credit.
because what was the overwhelming narrative when he got that money?
He was overpaid.
He was
Of course,
overpaid,
yeah.
right? And I understand that he outplayed that.
that
and
wasn't me. I was the biggest advocate for Jalen Brunson getting his money.
I'm just saying the overwhelming
it. Yeah,
narrative
I
was
loved it.
that. If you put the numbers
you're
that
right,
Jalen
yeah.
Brunson had in these playoffs behind James Harden's name, I promise you this would be an entirely different conversation and we wouldn't argue it. I promise you that. It is the name. It's the fact that Brunson just did that for one season and we aren't really ready to crown the guy as like, wow, he's like legit, like he's top 10 point guard clear cut. We aren't ready just because of the name value, because this is the first season that he's done that. But I'm going to base it, as I said, off of what I saw last season and off of what I expect this season. And I think Jalen Brunson's going to take another jump this year. I think it's entirely possible. He's going to represent the Knicks in the All-Star game, first and foremost. He's absolutely going to. So I have Jalen Brunson ranked incredibly highly, and that's just that.
The only thing about Brunson is, he didn't make it last year, but he also didn't have Dame in the same conference as him last year.
Wait.
Well,
He should be an all-star.
He should- I'm-
Trunks in the
listen,
chat,
I'm
they
not-
dead ass let anyone have a podcast.
Who said
these
that?
Days.
Trunks,
Trunks,
yeah, typical Trunks.
He goes Brunson 13. Come on. Let's.
You said you're 9 and 10, right?
Yeah.
You want to rattle off yours real
Wow.
quick?
Oh, Sleazy agreed with me. Yeah, Harden over Brunson is crazy. I will.
No,
I will. I'm sorry. I will. I'm
Yo,
sorry.
Sleazy, fuck you.
Thank you,
Trunks said he loves
Sleazy.
me. I love you too.
Oh,
Trunks.
Sleazy talking about, oh, we're going to play 2K. Never fucking wants to run. Fuck you, oh, Sleazy.
Oh, Sleazy, I'll get on
I've been
2K if you
fucking
get on
waiting
2K.
to run with you.
Oh, Sleazy
We'll have
said.
the greatest 5 ever. Me, you, Sleazy, Gallo, and
Oh,
Ortiz.
Jesus fucking
And we
Christ.
will cook in the wreck.
Oh boy.
We'll go dumb.
Ortiz and Gallo are bad, aren't they?
No, Ortiz is good.
He's a big.
What about Gallo?
Okay.
There's some room for improvement.
What is he good at?
Lacrosse. Dead ass.
boy.
Lacrosse.
All right, my 9 was Kyrie Irving, and my 10 was De'Aaron Fox.
Okay, my 9 was Brunson. My 10 was Murray.
Okay, so the guys that I left off the list.
I love that we all left Halliburton off.
Yeah,
Thank God.
all right.
I love
All
that.
right. I love Tyrese, and he was in consideration for me.
Thank God.
There were
bro.
3 guys after this. Obviously, James Harden that we just mentioned. Tyrese Halliburton, 4 actually. Darius Garland was in.
I
considering Garland.
I took Garland off my list for Kyrie.
Garland
I had
would
him
have
at
been
10.
my 11, and
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I fucked up. I would put Brunson 12 and then Howie 13.
This fucking guy.
What? I moved him up.
He should be higher than 12, Chris.
I think he should be higher than Garland.
definitely.
I don't know. I just think
Bro.
I think Garland's playmaking is just like can't teach that shit.
Did we watch the same playoffs?
We did. We watched the same playoffs. Garland's a great player.
Yeah, but he got bounced and he didn't play well.
It happens.
He had the one game too where he went off, and then
And then
other
was
than that, he
ass
really
for the
didn't
rest
play
of the
well.
fucking
So,
playoffs.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
I remember I was in Canada and I had Darius Garland. I think I had his over on points for ball game bets, and that motherfucker he shot a tour date. He shot like
3 first.
He shot a tour date. I love that, bro. The
4 for
shooting tour
17.
dates became one of my favorite things, and another one of my favorite things to say about players is people were calling Julius Randle a regular season merchant, and I think that's hilarious.
That's great. That is amazing.
My honorable mentions, I put off 3. I put Tyrese, Harden, and I put Drew Holiday as mine.
I even put
had
Drew
Garland
Holiday.
on
Yes,
there.
Drew Holiday was another one of my honorable mentions
yeah.
as well. The point guard position is fucking
man.
deep, man. It's crazy because a lot of these players would have been able to make it in most other situations. So
Drunks are crazy. in
yeah,
Toronto.
Garland over Brunson, bro. Brunson sucks. It's not even a thing.
Yeah, Osleazy said Tyrese or Jalen Brunson. I think we're all in consensus. Jalen Brunson.
Brunson clears Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese sucks.
Tyrese is great.
No,
Tyrese
he's
is
good.
amazing.
He's
Do
really
not
good.
get me
He's
wrong,
great.
bro. This Garland over Brunson shit is crazy. Get the fuck out of
Doesn't
here.
matter. Kate Cunningham's gonna be better than fucking all those bums.
Cade,
We shall see.
I had, and I just I couldn't.
You had
do
him
it.
in your top 10?
I had him in my like
legitimately?
top 15. He would have
Oh,
been like
okay.
my
Yeah, that's
next
different.
honorable mention, to be
LaMelo,
honest.
too.
LaMelo, yes. Oh
Yeah,
my god,
it's so crazy that like LaMelo didn't even get considered. It was just like he just
LaMelo should
doesn't
be
play
considered.
enough.
It's just he hasn't played.
He
enough.
doesn't play enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, I completely agree. All right,
That was fun.
that was a good
That
time.
was cool, yeah.
That was definitely a good time. All right, so next up, we'll stick with basketball, and we'll hop on over to the Western Conference over/unders. I gotta pull this up on. We're doing it with FanDuel.
I have them
might
here
I
if
add.
you want.
Oh, you do?
I have them written already, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Do you want me to rattle them off?
Yeah, you can.
All right, so
Whoever you want to start with, man.
yeah, starting with the Dallas Mavericks.
Wow.
Over under.
Perfect timing.
Well, it was alphabetical by city, I think. Is how
Okay.
FanDuel did it. But starting with the Dallas Mavericks, we have an over under of 43.5.
Come on, man.
I'm smashing the over.
It's an
It's
easy
That's an
over.
I'm
easy.
taking
I
the
can't
over as
believe
well.
that. Like I might actually have to put that in.
I'm taking the over.
That's crazy, bro.
The Mavs over, the Hawks over, the Pistons over, the Ravens to win their division, the Dolphins to win their division, and the Falcons.
You put that in before the NFL
Put
season.
that in way
Yeah.
back when.
Wow. Yeah, no, 43.5 is pretty low.
38 games last year.
They made
And now they have a.
they made some good moves.
Yeah.
Derek
It was
Lively's
really
gonna
good
help.
Off-season,
Derek
man.
Lively's gonna help. Grant Williams will obviously help a ton. I feel like I'm missing. They added a couple other guys, but I
Yeah,
just
they brought Seth back.
Curry,
Yeah.
Seth Curry is back. Yes.
The only thing I
They added
really
Derek Jones Jr.
yeah.
true.
The only thing I really want to see from the Mavericks is I feel like when Kyrie got there, they ran a lot of ISO. Like, and I know it's Kyrie and Luka, they can score on anyone. I get that, but like you have to integrate them more. You need to be creative in this league.
That I mean, if you go back to when we did the emergency podcast on Zoom when Kyrie got traded, we had the shields on for that podcast. That
Yeah, I
was my
remember.
biggest thing. I remember I ended the podcast with that. I said, one more thing before we end. This is all a wash if Jason Kidd doesn't do anything
Yeah.
to make life easier for these guys. And last year he didn't do that. I think the additions should really help them, though. I mean,
Yeah.
like we said, you added Grant Williams, who's one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league. You add a guy like Seth Curry, who he shouldn't be a huge part of the rotation, but if you need a spark offensively, we know Seth Curry could
Yes.
stroke that bitch. You add a guy in Derek Jones Jr., who obviously I'm very familiar with coming over from Chicago. I mean, 10, 15 minutes a night, just give you some energy, get some boards, play some defense.
Yep.
Derek Jones Jr. is more than capable. You had a guy in Rashawn Holmes who, again, you don't need him to play big minutes, but
I don't even know if he's gonna play.
as a screen and roller for Luka and Kyrie, like he could be good in that role to just catch passes off the roll and finish. He's a great floater.
He might not even play because they also have Dwight Powell. They also have Maxi Kleber.
I'm just saying, just in general, like if they need that's the thing. They got deeper. They have options. They have lineup.
I love Maxi. Now he's healthy too.
Right, Maxi Kleber's healthy, and then you have a really good draft. You draft Omax Prosper.
Omax, yep.
He fits the mold of what you want around Kyrie and Luka at that wing position. A guy who has length, could play defense, and could hopefully one day become a shooter.
100%.
And then you draft a guy in Derek Lively who, Derek Lively could solve everything.
He's going to start immediately.
Derek Lively could solve everything.
He really
and
could.
It's going to, Derek Lively should be on that path to have a Walker Kessler type season.
Yep.
He's going to be thrusted into the starting role, and he's going to be able to block shots, rebounds, and hopefully be on a competing team.
And those were the things they were really bad at.
And catch lobs.
Right.
It's obvious. You could just look at their stats from last year and see they need a center.
Right. And then you have these
stable.
these two other guys, and Josh Green and Jaden Hardy, who should easily take another jump. I love Josh Green. I think Josh Green's perfect for them as a tertiary ball handler. He could defend. His three-point shot has gotten better every year.
Him and Quentin Grimes are the same human being. I'm just convinced. They're the same basketball player.
They have the same build, too.
Yes, that's
build.
They're the same person.
And the hair, too. They have the same
They're the same person.
And then Jaden Hardy, who, at the end of last season got some burn. And, we saw all the flashes from Jaden Hardy. He has the potential to be an awesome spark plug off the bench. Like, they really should get significant. They won 38 games last year, and it was a shit show of a season.
Yeah.
And not just the play on the court, the vibes were low. So I expect the vibes to be better, which will help, and also just the on-court product. The roster got better. They should smash 43
and a half.
Hey, man, and they added Dante Exum, who apparently is
Tim
much
Hardaway
improved.
Jr. And he had
we didn't even mention Tim Hardaway Jr., who's a good rotation.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah,
like he's a good rotation.
Even if his main roles are spot up shooting.
Right, he's a catch and shoot guy who, when he needs to, could put the ball on the floor. That's what you want in today's NBA.
They've added a bunch of defense around these guys, which was what they needed to do.
They really improved their depth. So fuck it. Hot take: Dallas Mavericks are going to the Western Conference Finals.
You heard it here first.
I wanted to run it back with the Mavs.
Oh, Sleazy said 42 wins max. Who's the Mavs' third best player?
Josh Green.
It don't matter. Any given night, it could be any of those guys. That's the thing. Like, you don't really need to have that set in stone guy. There could be a night where Jaden Hardy's feeling it, and he's the guy. So,
you think a full season of Kyrie only gives them 4 more wins?
You would hope they install some sort of
and Derek
offensive
Lively
system,
and Grant Williams.
If they get off to a slow start, Jason Kidd has to be out the door.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
They might pull a goddamn Steve Nash with his ass if they don't get off to a really slow start. November 1st, expect that man out the fucking door. So, that I think it's a pretty easy over for the Dallas Mavericks.
Luka's gonna win the MVP, man.
We have that award show coming up soon. Monday, most likely, so stay tuned for that too.
All right, next up, another team we talked about extensively with the point guard list. The Denver Nuggets over-under is at 52.5.
Easy over.
They won the championship.
What'd they win last year?
They were at like 53? 53, I want to say. No, they did not win 48 last year.
Yeah.
I think they won 53 and got the first seed.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Because the West was
you're
deep.
right, you're right.
Yeah, okay, cool.
They did lose Bruce Brown, which can't be overlooked, but
their
just
depth
won the championship.
is not quite what it was, and I don't think they're going to care about the regular season.
That's fair.
I'm taking the under, simply for those two reasons.
I just said to myself, you know what? They just won the championship. I can't take the under.
I think the West is going to be so good that there's going to be a bunch of teams that are going to be like 48 wins that are going to be the third seed. Like the third seed is going to be 48 wins.
You know what's nuts? In 2012, 2013 NBA season, the Nuggets won more games than they won last year. That year with Ty Lawson and the
my
boys.
God.
Really?
In the first
Wilson
round.
Chandler, Danilo
When they
Gallinari,
lost
was
to the
that
Warriors in the first round,
How many
they were
games did they win?
57.
54? Oh my
57?
God.
Yeah.
Shout out Ty
57
Lawson,
and
man.
25.
Forgotten
Shout out Ty Lawson.
Hooper.
Ty Lawson was
UNC
a
legend.
baller,
Forgotten baller, man.
But no, I think the Nuggets should hit this over pretty calmly. I do fear that they will take their foot off the gas in the regular season a little bit, so that would be my only concern. But in terms of the depth, I'm not concerned at all. You have all these young guys who should take steps.
Yeah.
You have Christian Brown, you have Peyton Watson. They drafted Julian Strother, who's going to be a fucking stud for them, and he's been balling in the preseason. So, you want to talk about continuity? They have arguably the most continuity out of any team in the NBA, so they should be able to pump out regular season wins like it's nothing.
So
your boy Jamal Murray should have his All-Star campaign.
No. I'm not
year.
disagreeing with you, and I 100% agree. I'm just thinking this is a team that now, after you win that title, I feel like the regular season is like, we're going to coast. We care about the playoffs. So what I think the Nuggets are going to look to do is develop guys into role players on this team and find out who they could trust in a playoff rotation. So that's why I'm thinking like some of these guys that may not be as productive basketball players. Of course, I think Christian Brown is going to fill that Bruce Brown role almost entirely. I think Christian Brown's an amazing basketball player. But I think that they're going to try to find out who else in their rotation is going to be valuable, which is going to cause them to lose a few games.
My one big concern with the Nuggets is, yes, I like Christian Brown, the player, and he should be able to fill in the Bruce Brown role production-wise, but I think they're going to miss Bruce Brown's ball hand. Do they have a ball handler off the bench?
I'll tell you right now.
Reggie
Jackson.
That's it, right?
Yep. Unless Peyton Watson, you think there's something there with
he's
him.
He's not a ball handler.
No.
He's off the ball. They'll be in the market, though.
Absolutely.
Buyout market,
if there's.
I expect a reunion with Monte Morris. That's what
That's
I predict to happen. I expect a reunion with Monte Morris.
Yeah, I don't. Honestly, I might change to under now. I didn't realize that they were that thin.
Or Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones makes some sense too.
52.5?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to say they get 52 on the head.
Cool.
I'll stick with the over.
All right.
This is a team that, I mean, we're going to have a lot to talk about with these teams, but I think this one might be one of the lengthier ones. The Golden State Warriors, over under at 46.5.
I take the over. 46.5?
46.5.
I take the over.
They won 44 last year.
Yeah.
You can't be that bad on the road again. There's no shot. They were historically bad on the road. It's not going to happen again. Plus, you got rid of, look, I hate to say it, it's addition by subtraction. You got rid of Jordan Poole. That's huge. There was a massive cloud hanging over this team's head throughout the entirety of the season. We know that with the whole Draymond and Jordan Poole situation. So I think, because this matters, the way that you got, like, team camaraderie is really what carries you the most on the road too. So if you see a team is especially bad on the road, that means there might be something wrong with said team.
In the locker room.
Yes.
Especially a team like the Warriors who are built on...
This team's vibes seem incredible going into the season. Kuminga, Chris Paul has taken that man completely under his wing. I think Kuminga takes a step. I think Moses Moody steps into a legitimate rotational role. The only question that I have with that team is backup big, but I actually think Dario Saric is a good fit for what they ask for in that Warriors rotation as well. I definitely take the over. The Warriors are one of my personal favorites to win the NBA title this year out of the Western Conference.
That's interesting. I took the under, like, ever so slightly. I think they get 46, 45 around there, maybe 47, 48. I could totally see that. Also, Wiggins didn't play a lot less. I think he played 37 games last season. So I could totally see them going over. When I looked at their stats, like their perimeter defense struggled. Like they were giving up. They were one of the worst. I want to say one of the worst teams at defending the three ball. And I don't think they made many moves to get better there. Kuminga stepping up and Wiggins being back will probably help that, right?
And also, Gary Payton came back midway through that season. So that matters as well.
In addition, by subtraction, like you said, Jordan Poole was a fucking
horrible
terrible defender. So
did not care.
Someone else
Chris
being
Paul
in that
is
lineup.
still a heady defender at bare minimum.
Yeah, I mean, you could expose Chris Paul for sure.
But during the regular season, I'm not concerned with his defense because he's been a consistently good regular season defender.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over here. I like.
He might start.
I like that he's going to come off the bench. I like the. I have sources. He's coming off the bench. I like the Chris Paul addition. I think it should help their offense off the bench. I think the cum bucket has to take a step up this year. I mean, he looked great in preseason.
Yeah, I was gonna say the reports are.
They need him to.
He looked phenomenal in preseason. Like a completely different player.
They need him to step up. And I like their draft too. I mean, you got two guys who
can contribute immediately.
obviously not contribute in terms of being a big part of the playoff rotation, but to help, take
Get
some minutes
regular
away
season,
during the regular
yes.
season. I mean, Pods should be good for them as a guard. He, good playmaker, should be able to run the offense effectively. And then you get Trace Jackson Davis, who's a stud, could pass out of the short roll, really good defender, could score. So, yeah, I'm gonna take the over on the Warriors. I think they're better and deeper this year.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I don't know if I think they're a championship contender though.
I personally do.
I don't know. Like, I guess because they have Steph, I have to say they are
There's
a
just so many
championship
good
contender.
teams in the West.
It's rough with them, man.
If
Klay Thompson, man, scares me. Like,
That's what
it's-
O'Sleazy
it-
just said. So, are we going to talk about the Klay Thompson situation?
it's just like, right, that's what scares me is, like, I think they're going to be able to win regular season games. Like I said, they're deeper than they were last year. They should just automatically have positive regression on the road, like you said. And so they'll be able to win regular season games, but come playoff time, who's going to be the second best player? And I know Draymond impact-wise should be because of what he brings defensively, but I mean, who's
Who
going
are
to be
you
the
giving the
second
ball
but,
to?
but that's
Yeah.
why, like, for me with this team, I think on a given night, it can
Yeah.
be Andrew Wiggins, it can be Klay Thompson, it can be Chris Paul now.
How many teams win championships like that, though, that don't have a definitive second option? Or even,
I mean, the
like,
Golden State Warriors just did it. If we're
Yeah.
being honest,
Yeah,
the
and
Golden
that
State
was
Warriors just
okay.
did it.
I know, but that was like unprecedented circumstance. No one going into that season, no one expected the
No
Warriors
one,
to win
nobody.
that shit. So it's
But
like,
that's why I can't count them out.
yeah, definitely can't count them out. I'm
No, of
not,
course,
I'm
no,
not
you
counting
can never
them
count-
out.
yeah, yeah.
Just like
I'd
you know,
say
the West is so strong that we got to nitpick with these teams.
Yeah.
I'd say they have the fourth best odds in the Western Conference to win the championship. In my personal opinion.
Like I know Sleazy's definitely gonna get off on me.
Oh my God!
Oh, Sleazy's gonna go off.
Damn!
Oh, Sleazy's gonna go off
that
on me
is
in the chat, but like
crazy.
the
Can't wait to see him in the
only
chat with this
reason
one. Yeah,
to say
fucking
otherwise
refreshing.
is because of like history and respect. But me personally, I like the Mavericks' chances to win the title more than the Warriors.
I don't. Nope. No shot.
I do. I think having a guy like Kyrie as your second option really, really, really will pay dividends, especially in a playoff scenario. It's like picking like
I think having the
picking a
whole
hair.
Nitpicking,
roster that
yeah.
is that experienced also makes a difference, in my personal opinion.
yeah.
Um,
I don't know. The Warriors will definitely be fun to watch.
Yeah,
No question.
yeah, for sure.
Just
always are.
That was good discourse on the Warriors. I definitely take. So you took the over. I took the over.
I took the under.
Okay. Any specific reason?
Just there's just so many good teams in the West.
Okay.
Got to take the under on somebody. 46.5
Okay.
is a lot. Trunks goes, holy moly. Sleazy said, absolutely not. No caps. I could easily see them going over, though. I wouldn't be shocked. All right, next up is a far less exciting team. The Houston Rockets over under 32.5.
I don't know if they're less exciting.
not
That's why I
bad.
hesitated saying far less. They're definitely less exciting than the Warriors, but 32.5 is the line.
Man,
I'll start. I went over. I just feel like they did too much to win 32 games. You know, like signing Fred VanVleet, signing Dylan Brooks. They want to win some games this season. I feel like 32 is a crazy amount with the amount of money they spent and everything.
I actually think they did a really good job this offseason. Like their starting five just looks so much more well balanced.
They did, but they didn't, bro. They did, but they didn't.
They did a lot. You don't think they
The-
did the right kind of thing?
Not even that. I think they did do the right things given like what was available. It's just like I feel like the idea of Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks is better than actually Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks.
You don't like the idea of them shooting 10 for 40
Right.
every
that's
night?
what I'm saying. Like
But here's my thing. I
Fred
think
was really inefficient last year.
They are
was.
two of the biggest shot chuckers in the NBA. Like,
but Fred is also a very good playmaker.
Yeah.
And is capable of taking the back seat when he knows he needs to take the back seat. I think Jalen Green has the best season of his career by far. I think he becomes far more efficient, Like I'm thinking like in the realm of like 44-45% from the field, which is obviously far and away his career high.
Yeah.
And like 37-38 from 3.
They got Baby Yoke too.
Yo, they
Don't sleep on Baby
They
Yoke.
want to trade his ass, bro.
Şengün, really?
He's had a rough preseason.
Really?
Because I'm all over Rockets
Yeah, yeah.
Twitter. 'cause
I haven't
those are
seen
my
anything.
boys, but he supposedly had a really rough preseason, and like they're turning on it. It's mad fun. It's
I think he'll
actually
probably be
hilarious.
fine.
Yeah, I think.
It's funny,
Jabari
like, yeah, like
Smith?
last season they literally thought he was the second coming of Jokic. And
Jabari Smith, I think he's looked good. You're on Rockets Twitter. He's looked good, right?
his defense was really good last season, and
As a rook.
I feel like the shot just
It's gonna come around.
It'll come to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Udoka's going to
32
get
and a
him in
half.
more spots too, rather than just using him spotting up in
Yeah.
the corner. He's a really good turnaround midi, and like obviously at his size, that shit's unblockable.
So
and uncontestable.
I concern with the shooting of this team.
right. So
Yeah.
do I.
32.5 games.
I
though.
really do.
Fred can shoot the 3 ball. We know that. He wasn't incredibly efficient last year, but the second half of the year, he was far more efficient from 3. Jalen Green can shoot the 3 ball. Dylan Brooks,
He can shoot the 3 ball. Will it be effective?
He just
he'd
shoots.
be shooting the 3
he
ball.
He will shoot the 3 ball. That's what we know.
Jabari Smith, I'm expecting, obviously, him to improve a ton with his 3-point shot. Şengün doesn't shoot it often at all. And then off the bench, Amin Thompson. I know damn well he ain't going to be shooting efficiently from 3. Reggie Bullock is cool. I'm happy that they added him, but Tari Eason and Jock Landale, don't expect many 3-pointers from Tari Eason this season.
I love Tari.
Cam
He's a
Whitmore.
great player, but he's just not a 3-point shooter yet. Damn, 32.5, bro. How many games did they win last year? Do we have that?
22. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure it was
Is
22.
Fred Brooks
22.
internal improvement and Reggie Bullock enough?
That's what I'm.
And Jock Landale.
And I just fear that I like the signings and I like the idea of them like, hey, we had no veterans last year. We had all this internal stuff. We go get a coach that should keep everyone
Drop
in
Kevin
check,
Porter Jr.
and we go get these 2 veterans.
Another
Traded
addition by
Kevin
Porter
subtraction.
These
Well, yeah.
I just feel like those 2 veterans, like you said, they're shot chuckers. I feel they're gonna stunt the growth of this team. And I know
I think Fred helps.
Fred's capable of taking a back seat. The other guy, not so much.
I think he knows what that is. Yeah.
It's so tough. 32 and 32.5 isn't.
And I'm gonna
that
be honest
many
with you,
games.
I also don't think him stepping into a situation where A, he's getting paid $20 million, B, he's the oldest in the locker room pretty much,
right.
is gonna help that.
For both of them.
He's
obviously,
their
like
role
you said,
model.
you
No, but
trust
Fred we've kinda seen,
to
yeah.
take a step back,
leadership
like, you
role
trust him
too,
more,
yeah.
but they just paid him $40 a fucking year.
Yeah.
So like it's hard when you're paying me $40 million a year. Why do I got to take a step back? So these young guys who haven't done shit. I'm an NBA champion, and you just paid me $40 million a year. I'm gonna shoot as many times as I want. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think
know if
Fred is like
rubs
that.
Me like that. But
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
In
I don't-
theory, though, like I don't know him personally, but like from the outside looking in, you
Yo,
paid
Chris
me
is on a roll today.
what?
You said I don't think he rubs me like that.
Oh, he doesn't rub me that way.
That's not what you said, though.
Oh, but I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
Fred's making $40 million a year, and he's an NBA champion. Why would he take a step back to
Right.
some guys who haven't done shit?
Yeah.
It's
On a team that won 22
it's
games last
so.
year.
All right,
tough
I
with
think
the
we're
Rockets.
trying to talk ourselves into the over, so I'm gonna take the under.
I think I'm gonna take the under too, man. I don't feel good about it.
Me neither.
This is a good line, 32
Yeah.
and a half.
I
That's
can
a-
see them winning
Pendle went
38,
off
40
on that
games.
one.
I genuinely could see 38 to 40 wins for them.
40 is such a huge.
I don't know
think
about
there's-
40.
Okay, I
yeah.
think there's a world where they win like 38 games.
I could see them getting like I'd cap them at like 35. That's where I'd
Yeah,
cap.
Then
And
take
I think
the
so,
under.
too.
100%
no, I
take
am
the under.
taking
Yeah.
the under.
I took the over just slightly, but it's just yeah. It's,
Yo, is
it's
this
tough.
charger not plugged in?
Let me check. They're about to see my whole.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Oh,
Shame. next time.
sorry guys.
Someone
you're not gonna get a
sabotage our
show.
charger.
You're not gonna get it. All right.
Next one, another controversial one. The Los Angeles Clippers with an over/under of 45.5.
I think they trade for Harden.
If they get Harden, it's obviously an easy over.
I still don't know if that's the case.
45?
They don't play, bro.
I'm gonna take the over.
But I will take the
45?
over.
Nah, even if they don't play that much, They won 44 last
I
year.
most definitely take the over. I think a full season with Russell Westbrook's going to help too. Russ showed that he cares about the team now more so than his individual numbers. Even though he had a sick playoff run, I hope that doesn't get in his head a little bit. But I think Russ is all in. If they trade for Harden, that's huge. But I was really hoping that the team that traded for Drew Holiday was the Clippers. Because I thought James Harden would help, yeah, sure. It's quite obvious that James Harden is going to help this team. But Drew Holiday would have been perfect. I see your head just in the bottom of that. Drew Holiday would have been the perfect answer for all the Clippers questions, like overall. But they made a bunch of moves. Well,
did they?
They will if they trade for Harden. I like the KJ. I like that they got KJ Martin because I actually really like KJ Martin, the player. And then the rest of the roster has been pretty much the same, which continuity. It's a good thing, I guess. So
they when your roster doesn't play, is it that good?
Is it really continuity? I'm gonna take the over. Personally,
I took the under just because I can't trust Paul George and Kawhi to play games. Like that's literally it. The whole line comes down to how many games they play, and
you
obviously
questioned me when I said they don't play.
What do you mean?
I said that before.
You said it should be the over when you first started.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
You questioned when I said, well, they don't play. And then because you said it should be the over if they get Harden, no matter what.
That's what I said.
But yeah. You're right. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Tom. But I take the over just because.
Listen, the lines are what they are for a reason, right?
Yeah,
it's supposed to be difficult.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be difficult. All right.
What are you going, Chris? Did you say?
I'm taking the over on this one.
Okay. Next one, probably the most controversial of them all.
Oh boy.
The Los Angeles Lakers with an over/under of 46.5.
Okay. Here we go.
This is going to be a good one.
Here we go.
I'm 46.5.
I'm happy they're back to back because I have two bold predictions. One, given that they're back to back, we finally, at long last, receive the Lakers-Clippers Western Conference Finals that we've long been waiting for. So I think that happens this year. Because I'm predicting that I'm operating in my head that James Harden is a Clipper.
Okay.
And as for the Lakers, my other hot take was Austin Reeves wins Most Improved Player and averages 22, 5, and 5 on 50, 40, 90 splits for next season. That was my other hot take.
Oh, Franz was crazy, bro.
That was my other hot take.
Yeah, that's hot.
I'm a big-time Austin Reeves guy.
How much did you say he averages?
22, 5, and 5.
On 50, 40, 90.
Boy.
On 50, 40, 90. Yeah. I expect big things out of Austin Reeves. I think he's clear-cut the third best player on the Los Angeles Lakers and clear-cut the third best player on a championship-level team, as I said last season. So, yeah, I expect big things out of the Lakers. I absolutely smashed the over. I think they've done so much to improve their roster.
They had a good offseason.
An amazing
great
offseason. Gabe Vincent,
Woods,
Taurean Prince, Christian Wood. They obviously added way deep depth. Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, which could be interesting young Flyers. But all in all, I mean, I think there's going to be more defined roles for Austin Reeves for a full season, D'Angelo Russell for obviously the entirety of the year, and then Rui Hachimura for a full year as well. There's a lot of guys that they acquired at the trade deadline and then became one of the best second-half teams. Now we put it in a full season, and I think the Los Angeles Lakers absolutely shatter that.
I also took the over. I mean, they won 43 last year. They get, like you said, a full season of those guys, Christian Wood, Gabe Vincent. They're going to be a better team. They're going to be one of the best teams in the league, I think.
Yeah.
But
no, I got to take the over.
yeah.
I'm not that much of a hater. I think this is a really,
Drunk said AD winning MVP, and O'Sleazy said AD
Defensive
winning
player of the year. He's
year.
winning both.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm I'm gonna take the over. I think this is a really low line for the Lakers. I could see them getting to 50.
Yeah.
I think they just have depth that they haven't had before in the LeBron and AD era. That's if those guys happen to miss time, which I think they will miss some type of time at some point. I think they have the roster that could still produce and win some games. So I'm gonna take the over.
What are we didn't talk about this with the Clippers. What are the new like load management rules that like do you guys?
I don't even know.
I was gonna say I didn't really like.
So
understand it
for
entirely.
primetime games, you like can't go out of your way to rest the guy
unless you absolutely have to.
unless
you have
he's
to,
like legitimately injured. Yes, I think. If you want to look it up, there's a lot of rules in terms of the new load management.
No, we don't have to go
ones.
over the whole thing. I was just. curious if you guys
But
have
yeah, I'm
general
pretty sure the
understanding of it.
primary one that you need to know is for the primetime games. You can't just go out of your way to rest guys.
Interesting. Okay. All right, so we're good on the Lakers. That's it.
Yeah. Wow, that was a short
Yeah,
conversation.
it was a
on
short
that.
conversation.
I thought he was gonna
Yeah,
hate
about
my
the Lakers.
predictions there.
I mean, how
I
much?
don't really
Yeah, what is there
fucking
really to say?
Yeah.
They made the second round last year as a 7th seed. They got a
No,
lot better.
They didn't make the second round. They made the Western Conference
Oh,
Finals.
they made. Yeah, they did make WCF. That's right.
Ooh.
With no continuity on their
And
roster.
got way better. Yeah. So
Just throwing it out there.
okay. Next up
Crunk
is
says, and 2 All-Stars in the past 3 seasons can't rest in the same game.
Okay.
That's pretty crazy.
Wow.
literally an at for Kawhi and Paul George.
Yes. No, that's what it was.
Literally-
That's quite
the
literally
whole rule
what
is
this was.
just them.
I love that. I love that.
amazing. So Cat can't sit because Mike Conley is resting now.
You're right, actually.
No, that's what Trunk said. I'm sorry. Trunk said that. That's hilarious. All right. Next up is the Memphis Grizzlies over under 46.5. Same line as the Lakers.
Gotta
What
take
was
the
it?
under on the Grizzlies.
46.5.
I gotta take the under, man. It's
Ja's
rough.
missing 25.
Yeah, I
games.
rock
Yeah.
with the Grizzlies, and I love the Marcus Smart edition. I think that's pretty freaking
Right.
sick, dude. But I think Luke Kennard being there another year is gonna help too. One of the best snipers in the league. But Ja missing 25 games is gonna put them in a hole early on. I know they've been good.
I was
in-
about to
Yeah,
say
they're
they've
thir-
been
they're
there,
37
done
to
that.
but
24
there's
without
no
Ja.
Tyus Jones anymore.
There's also
Yeah.
no Dylan Brooks.
Tyus Jones was the key to them.
Tyus
We hate to
Jones,
say it.
I have the he averaged 13, 7, and 3 without Ja.
Yeah, he was the
So-
key to them winning games without John.
Yeah.
Him not being there, I think is
I
gonna.
think Marcus could fill some of that.
Yeah, but he ain't no Tyus Jones.
They're different players.
Yeah.
It's like
I
the whole
gotta
reason the
take the
Celtics
under.
got
I
rid
take
of
the
him.
under as well. I take the under.
Yeah,
as well,
I also
actually.
took the under. Ja missing 25 games is tough, and I just don't think they're gonna.
Oh, Sweezy, cry me a river, bro.
In a loaded Western Conference, by the way. 47 wins is a fucking lot in the current Western Conference.
Right, and missing Ja for like a couple of
25
games here
then
and there.
integrating him.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
too. But missing Ja for a couple games here and there and having Tyus Jones replace him versus missing him for the first 25 games of your season, it's different. So
Well, Sleazy, you're complaining as if you didn't get fucking Drew Holiday. And Kristaps out of fucking Marcus Smart, bro.
that's kind of nuts.
Kristaps and 2 first-round picks, and then you got fucking Drew Holiday for 2 first-round picks. Stop crying, okay? Stop crying.
Boo-hoo.
I know what he meant to your heart, but stop. Continue.
Next up is the Minnesota Timberwolves with an over/under of 44.5. It's a line you're going to see a lot.
44.5 for the Timberwolves.
Yes. They won
They were
42 last year.
They were good in the second half of the season when there was some semblance of continuity. I'm going to rock with them. I think Anthony Edwards takes a jump into the top 5 MVP conversation.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the over. I think if I literally said to myself, I was like, if Anthony Edwards is the player we think he is, I think it's hard to see them losing pretty much as many games as they did last year if he takes that leap. So I'm going to go with the over as well.
Taking the under, bro. I just don't see it with the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards could take all the leaps he wants to take. I don't know, like a fucking frog, leapfrog. I don't care. Rudy, everyone says this thing. Everyone says this thing. All the other fucking podcasts, they always like to say this about the Timberwolves. Oh, this roster is built to win regular season games. And I just don't see it. I don't see how a roster starting 2 centers is built to win regular season games. Carl Towns at the 4 is not the answer, bro. And
No.
I know we didn't get to see it enough last year, but when they were on the court together last year, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good product out there.
So the weird thing is, they were like close to a net, like even, right? And they had an amazing defense, I think, when the two of them were out there, and like one of the worst offenses we've seen when they were out there together.
It's the Rudy Gobert effect.
But oddly enough, as the season went on, it actually got far better, as it should have. But Cat, there was no continuity because Cat got hurt. I also think Mike Conley for a full season changes things because I don't think D'Lo was the right point guard there. And another guy that got hurt was Jaden McDaniels. I mean, actually, he got hurt in the playoffs. But regardless, I mean, Jaden is going to improve, I think.
He played in the playoffs. I thought he just didn't.
He broke his hand. I know that.
Yeah,
I think he missed a couple games, at bare minimum. But regardless, I mean, I think also the rookie Leonard Miller. I think he's going to make an impact right away as well.
Not so later in the season.
Oh wait, they have so many.
They've Kyle Anderson.
Kyle Anderson, Nas Reed.
He's
Oh
not gonna play.
boy,
I like Leonard Miller. He's
Yeah.
a good player, but he's not gonna play for them right now. They just paid Nas Reed.
yeah, they did.
Do we see Cat getting shipped in the season?
No,
Or after the season even?
after the season, if this doesn't work out, I see it.
What does work out for them, though? Like, it's clearly not going to be as good as they had. thought it
They
was
have to
gonna be.
win 46 games and be a top 6 seed.
But then
That's enough to
what?
run it back?
Skip the play-in.
That's-
entirely.
that's
yes.
enough to run it
Yeah,
back,
I
though?
mean, for the Timberwolves, yes. Bare minimum 46 games, and you got to be a top 6 seed. Avoid the play-in. That's enough for them to run it back. Look at the organization we're talking about here. If this is the Los Angeles Lakers, and that's the case, maybe not. An organization that we expect greatness, maybe not. But there are certain organizations that if you make the playoffs consistently, they're happy with that.
I don't think they're one of those.
What have we seen?
But it's not about what we've seen. It's about you have a guy who everyone likes to say could be the next face of the NBA who's still on a rookie contract, and you just traded away everything for Rudy Gobert. If you're not a contender this year, Cat is gone. There's no running it back. If they're not competing for a championship, if they don't
But that's what
If they don't
So you think they have to win at least one round?
win one
If
round,
they
and
win
then
one round, I think
and
they
then compete in the second round,
okay.
have a chance to win. You know,
Yeah.
maybe they lose in the
Like
second
they
round, but
lose in 6
7 or
games.
6, yeah. Then it's a different
You have to
conversation.
run it back. Yes.
Yeah, even then,
I don't
it's
even
still
think
a
you have to.
conversation,
Yeah.
I don't think Cat and Rudy Gobert. Can
I agree
coexist,
I agree that
bro.
it's not going to work in the playoffs. I definitely agree with you. But I think there's a world where, say, this team wins 48 to 50 games in the regular season, and they genuinely believe, even if they
can't.
lose in the first round, that they can run this thing back.
That's where you lose me though when you say there's
48 to 50.
48 to 50. I don't see them. I think they might struggle to win 40, bro.
I don't agree. They
I
won
think they're
42
I
with
think
Cat
they're gonna
missing
be
most of the
around
year.
There, they're going to be around 40 to 44 wins. That's it.
I definitely
I
take
don't-
the over with this.
I don't see it.
What was it, 45 and a half?
44 and a
44.5.
half.
Yeah, take the over.
Yeah, G-Man in the chat says West has 11 teams with playoff aspirations. I'm high on Edwards, but not on the team. Gobert trade really handicapped that team, and Cat is going to be gone by next year.
I could,
couldn't
I
have said
could
it
see
better,
that.
G-Man.
Yeah.
but
couldn't have said it
I
better.
think they kind of figured it out in the regular season this year.
All right. Next up is the Narlands Pelicans
No,
Narlands.
with an over/under of 44.5.
Okay.
I think so. I'll start. I took the over because Zion played 29 games, and I know it's totally reasonable. Like if you told me he's gonna play that many again this year, I'm not gonna doubt that. But they won. How many games did they win last year?
They started the season like really fucking good.
They
and
won
then
42. It was the same as the Timberwolves. I think Trey Murphy, Alvarado, Herb Jones, they have some solid pieces there that are going to continue to get better, especially Trey Murphy. I like him a lot. But they are 57 and 57 with Zion, by the way, if that influences you anyway.
57,
doesn't.
57 with Zion.
Yeah.
because they were really good last year with him, and
Yeah.
the rookie season was a wash pretty much in my opinion.
They're another. It all depends on how many games he plays. They've been competitive like in the regular season maybe without him. You know what I mean? Like they've looked good at times.
Yeah,
where
but
you see it, where you're like, if they can just get a healthy Zion, they'll be a really good team. So
yeah, I also think a little bit Zion hinders the player that Brandon Ingram is too.
That's fair.
I don't think they're a good match. I really don't. It could work, but I don't think they're a good match. So this leads me to my other bold prediction. I said Zion gets traded right after the season, even after playing in the most games in his career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where's he going?
Where's he going?
Where's he going? He's coming home.
Oh, he's coming fucking
coming home.
He's going to pair up with his bestie. He's going to be back with the Duke / Villanova / Kentucky New York Knicks.
Yep.
So
let me just say, him and Julius Randle would bully people.
No, Julius is in the trade, bro.
Oh, okay.
He's out of here.
It's heartbreaking.
He's out of here.
I understand.
Yeah, I mean it's Zion fucking Williamson.
This is Zion fucking Williamson.
I'm just saying, like, even if he doesn't stay healthy for us, he's worth the risk of like getting rid of a couple guys and picks to potentially have what he can be. So, but anyways, with all of that being said,
did you say?
I think 43.5?
44.5.
Fuck, that's such a good line too.
The one game really made a big difference.
Oh my God. What do you think, Chris? Talk me into something here. Those are his thoughts.
What I take on the Warriors? Did I take the over or the under on the Warriors?
You took the over with me.
On the Warriors?
Yeah.
So I took the over on the Clippers too.
Yeah.
So I have the Nuggets over, the Mavericks over, the Lakers, Clippers, Warriors over.
I know I have two unders. I have two unders for sure.
The Rockets under. What other teams?
I have the Rockets under. I have the Nuggets under.
Grizzlies, Lakers.
Grizzlies under.
Mavericks. You went over, obviously.
Timberwolves under. I have.
Timberwolves over. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This is
I'm going to take the Pels over. I'm going to say they get 45 on the head.
This is probably the hardest one for me so far. Out of all the ones that we've done, I think this is the hardest one for me so far.
How many games does Zion play? Like, how many games do they get of Zion? Not that they're going to be like this super great team.
I said he plays the most games of his career. I guess I'll take the over. I guess.
Okay. All right. That brings us to our next team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, with an over-under of 44.5.
Fuck.
Taking the under on the Thunder.
Okay.
They get 43.
Given that I have a bold take based upon this, I think they won 43 games last year.
Something like that. 40.
The West is just so 40.
40? And
40.
they added Chet. Shea gets better. Giddey gets better. Jalen Williams gets better. The entire team gets better because they're all fucking 21 years old. So here was my bold prediction. Shea finishes top 3 in the MVP voting, and the Thunder get the 4th seed in the West. So, yes, I take the over for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
4th seed in the West, huh?
I have such high hopes for the Oklahoma City Thunder, bro. This is like my team this year. Like, this is the team that I'm gonna really like be all over because of the fact that, I mean, if you followed this podcast for any length of time, Shea's my guy. And Shea's long been my guy ever since the draft. I honestly watched him coming out of Kentucky and said, like, me and Tracali would have conversations about, like, that draft and stuff, like, each draft. And I told Trunks, I'm like, Shea is my guy. Like, this is the one that's going to be the best player in this draft class. And I actually hit on that, and I fell in love with him from that point forward. And he's gorgeous. He's a handsome dude.
You obviously hit on that? Him being the best player in the draft class? You crazy?
Or whatever, bro. He's fucking top 2. What class was that? The Luka class? Yeah, he's top 2. Sorry.
Top 3.
Bro, he's better than Trey.
Okay.
He's better than Trey.
You ranked him over Trey.
That was just based on last year.
Oh, right. No, it wasn't. We literally got into arguments because it wasn't based on last year.
All right. So my whole thing behind this team is they're deep, they're young, And I think they're simply going to improve. I mean, look, what was their biggest issue? They didn't have a big man. And now you had Chet Holmgren, the 7'1", 7'2", stretch big that could block a whole bunch of shots. And he looked good in the preseason. Looked really good in the preseason, might I add. Hopefully he stays healthy. That's the biggest question with any of these guys. But I think that makes a big difference too. So
Chet looked good. He is just like the corniest person
he's so
ever
corny.
met in my life.
So
Not met,
corny.
I've ever seen in my life.
So corny. But they're good vibes over
But
there.
yeah, but he's a good player. I also took the over for those pretty much the same reasons. Their biggest issues last year were defense and rebounding, and adding a guy like Chet should help that. And they have a bunch of young guys that project to be better at least. You know, it doesn't always work out that way, but I think the Thunder go over.
Yeah, I'm taking the under on the Thunder.
Under on the Thunder.
I don't know, bro. There's too many teams in the West, man.
Yeah.
I don't think it's their time yet.
Oh, if I look at all these teams and accurately like make a standings, it probably makes no sense. Like the worst team in the conference is gonna win like 40 games. like that's probably how it'll add up. But all right. Next up is the Phoenix Suns with an over under of 52.5.
I'm taking the over. Hot take: the Suns are the best team in basketball.
Record-wise?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the over. There's just too much talent there. 52.5 is a lot, but there's just too much talent there.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the over too. The only thing is I looked it up. KD hasn't played more than 55 games since Golden State, which I don't know. That's gonna be an
D-Book
issue.
has also missed a bunch of games
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I think it's different though.
under.
Having Bradley,
changed
Beal,
my
they
mind.
could. I mean, Brad's missed a bunch of times.
Brad's
Yeah,
also
like-
missed a bunch of times.
All right, I'm gonna
They're
take
not
the
all
under.
going to miss a bunch of time at the same time.
I
so
don't think they care enough about the regular season either. I think they build up enough chemistry there
I think they do actually.
That's what they had. I think they need to
because
yeah,
they need
for
to
that
build up
reason.
chemistry. That concerns me. I don't know. I'm scared of injuries, so I'm gonna take the under. I don't want to bet on injuries, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the under.
They had a really good offseason, man.
Sick off season, might I add.
Eric Gordon's going to win the Sixth Man of the Year.
There, your hot take.
Chris is giving
Just
all
right
his
there.
award picks this show.
And I'm going to change it when we.
All right.
Well, what are we doing? Tomorrow we're going to watch football. Then
Fuck yes.
Monday night we're going to do our award predictions.
And then Tuesday
then
we go
Tuesday
over
night,
football.
We're going to
Go
go
over
over football while we put NBA opening night on this TV. Right? That's what we're going to have to do.
I mean,
Ooh.
yeah, it's that time of year for us.
We're going to have to watch while we record. It's just opening night, bro. It's not the fucking finals. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Not like week 1 of the NFL either, you know, where it's like,
You have to watch.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's just.
Yeah, we could
So
have it
we're
on
gonna
over
do-
there. That's
Yeah.
fine. I'll
um,
fix the TV somehow.
Yeah, and when Wembanyama nutmeg jumps over somebody in 360
We're all gonna
windmills,
be like-
yeah, you'll know. All right. Next up is Portland Trailblazers with an over/under of 27.5.
I take the under.
Took the
27.5 is.
under. 133 with Damian Lillard. last
They're
year.
young, bro. They're so young,
tough.
and I think they have Malcolm Brogdon on this roster somehow still. Does Ayton help them?
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Does Ayton give them enough wins?
Ayton's a better Nurkic
For sure.
at the least.
Does he give them more than 27.5 wins? Is what I'm questioning.
It's tough because I think when you look at the roster, if you just like pull up the roster right now and just look at the
Yeah.
roster, do an overview of the roster, and you tell me, does that look like a 27 win roster or does it look like a 30 plus win roster?
Let me tell you right now. Scoot, Simon, Shadon, Jeremy Grant, Malcolm Brogdon, Shadon, Matisse, Rob Williams. I
Right.
forgot about
Yeah.
that.
It looks like
Yeah.
a more than 30 win roster. It really does. But the West is so tough and they are so young and there's so many moving parts.
They ain't playing no fucking defense either.
They're the toughest team for me to do the over under.
I'm taking the under.
Because I could see them going way under, and I could see them going a
Way
good amount.
over, yeah.
27, I could see them going a good amount over. You see them getting up to like 35.
It's tough
So,
Western Conference.
Yeah.
I'm taking the under. I just
I
have
took
to.
the under also. Yeah.
Brogdon will get traded. They don't play any fucking defense when your best players are pretty much a rookie and, well, your best scorers at least. And then Anthony Simons and Shadon, and both of those guys don't really care to defend right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under too. I think they're gonna trade some of the Rob Will, Malcolm Brogdon, Jeremy Grant guys, and I think there's so many teams that are trying to compete that I feel like
They have to say it's a seller's
this is
market.
a good year to tank.
Yes.
Not even just it's a seller's
Yeah.
market, it's a good year to tank because you're not going to be competing with anyone really for the number one
The
pick.
Jeremy Grant signing is hilarious. When
It's-
you look at
It's
that
so
roster now.
bad.
What do you get, 32 million
Like
or something
32,
like that?
33 million a year, yeah.
So funny.
Like for a team that he's like on a contender, if he's on a contender, that makes sense. I get it. That's just yeah. I
All
don't
right.
know.
This next one is a tough one. This is one of the tougher ones for me. The Sacramento Kings over under 44.5.
All right. I hate to do it. Sacramento, I was so fucking happy for your success last year. I'm taking the under. And my final bold prediction, the Kings unfortunately missed the playoffs.
Wow. They get eliminated in the play-in, I would imagine, or they just miss everything. Does De'Aaron
Why'd you
Fox
have to
get
go
shot
in?
in the head or
Why'd you have to
something?
go in deeper? They make the play-in, but they don't win in the play-in.
Okay. I was curious.
They make the lower side of the play-in.
Where you at, O'Brien?
44.
And a half.
I think I got to take the under on this one, man.
I took the under too. This is one of the
Wow.
few ones we all had the same thing. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had that yet, except maybe I think Dallas and the
Tough
Lakers.
with the Kings, man.
I just think I wrote down their offense was literally like historically good, and I think that's going to be hard to replicate.
yeah.
And their defense was not good.
Bro, that's what I was about to say. Your biggest issue was defense, and you didn't solve it at all.
No.
Like, you added Chris Duarte, which I think is cool, but he's, like, not a difference maker defensively. Davion, I expect to be better offensively, but, like...
How much is a 6-foot guard going to carry your defense?
Exactly. Like, how much is he really going to change for you defensively, too? Yeah, no, I can't.
Yeah, under on the Kings.
Unless they trade for OG, which I think was one of my bold predictions for the Raptors. If they trade for OG, I think this is a team that hits the over pretty effortlessly. But yeah, no, I'm taking the under.
Yeah. Okay. Next up is the San Antonio Spurs over under of 28.5.
Okay, I said under for the Trailblazers because I felt like I had to with such a young roster and stuff. This is a similar vein.
Yeah.
But here's the difference. Your rookie might be one of the greatest basketball players we've ever witnessed in our entire lives. I like Keldon. I think Devin Vassell hopefully stays healthy and has a big jump. 28.5.
Yeah.
Greg Popovich is your head coach.
Looks that way.
It seems to be the case. I like their young players. I'm gonna go with an over.
I'm going to take the under on the Spurs. I think there's not a rush for them to win. Like I said, it's a good year to tank and try and get a good draft pick again. And they don't have a point guard.
Yeah.
Their starting point guard is going to be Jeremy Sohan.
It's Trey Jones.
Trey Jones.
No, their starting point guard is going to be Jeremy Sohan. They're starting,
Oh, man.
they're starting Jeremy, Vassell, Keldon, Zach Collins, and Victor. That's been
their lineup.
Why the
really?
fuck is
That's
Trey Jones not
I
starting?
don't know. I'm not the coach. I
You
don't
gotta trust
I don't
Popovich that he just sees something wrong there, I guess.
Even
I don't
with
know.
Trey Jones, though, overall as a squad, they're lacking some
Yeah.
playmaking. So that's why I think they get the under.
I think
said-
it'll be a playmaking by committee outside of Trey.
Yeah, but that's not enough in this Western Conference. You need a point guard.
Did
in
you guys see that
this
video
Western
of
Conference.
Wemby dunking on the Heat and Thomas Bryant just was
Yes.
mesmerized?
Yes.
It's hilarious. I took the under too. I think you put it well. They're not in a rush to win games. Popovich will make it known that didn't he come out last year in training camp or the preseason, or it was media day, and he was like, "Don't bet on us to win the championship." That's all, literally his words. So
He's very upfront.
he's up front and he knows what he wants to and has to accomplish.
I pray that Pop sticks around for 4 or 5 more seasons.
I think he's said I want to get this team in the right direction, and then
I
mean,
hate,
who knows?
I hate to say this, because it's sad as fuck, and it really does make me so sad. I think Pop would have retired if his wife hadn't passed away. But given that his life is basketball now,
Yeah.
which is the sad, it sucks. Pop is one of the best dudes in the entire NBA.
Yeah.
So but I want to see him stick around now long enough to see this team hopefully become a legit title contender.
He's the NBA's Belichick with a personality.
Yes, exactly.
Pretty much
Yes.
what he is.
I want to see him stick around long enough for like Wembanyama to be the best possible Victor Wembanyama, and like for them to have a legit like second and third best player on the team
Yeah.
to win a championship.
And
So
then, like him over the summer, he was training with David Robinson and Tim Duncan. It's like this kid is,
he's set.
yeah, he's set.
He's set. Yeah. All right, you guys flip me. I'm gonna take the under.
Under, okay.
Yeah.
So under on the Spurs. All
You guys flip me on that.
All right, and last and not least is the Utah Jazz.
Oh, they're
over under
least.
35.5.
They are least.
by numbers. No, they're not, but because the line's at 35.5.
35.5 for the Utah
They won
Jazz.
37 last year, and they got off to a hot start. I couldn't find their actual.
I'm gonna be honest
record.
with you. That was a fucking fluke, is what
Yeah.
that was.
Man,
I know they added John
I rock
Collins.
with the Jazz, bro.
I'm taking the fucking under.
I'm taking the under too, but I rock with the Jazz.
I also
bro.
took the under.
I like the Jazz. I love this young core, man. They drafted my guy Keontae. They had a sick draft. Taylor Hendricks.
Taylor
personal
Hendricks as
vote.
well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
That,
just
you know,
remember they were like
Kessler's great.
Walker
like,
Kessler.
December or something, they were like the
Ochai,
5 or 6 seed.
Worry. Like, bro, they have a sick.
Colin
young
Sexton is a
core.
solid
Oh
spark
my
plug if he
God.
stays. If he's still there.
He's 30 a game.
Fuck.
I really like the Jazz's core.
Yeah.
It's just not their time. Go get another draft pick.
Yes.
Well, like I said,
agreed.
the Jazz were like the six.
I know they were
something like that.
competing when they
And
were
they
putting
only
their
won
full
37
roster out
games.
there.
Like it's crazy.
The
Yeah.
only reason they only won 37 games too was because they said, "Fuck this, we're
Right.
winning too much," and they stopped.
Yeah.
They traded some
winning.
dudes too. They traded Mike Conley. I know that.
They would have been a playing team if they didn't decide to stop trying to win games,
Yeah.
like easily.
Yeah, I don't think this is the time.
All
This
right.
is not the time.
And that's
So,
the NBA's Western
Did
Conference.
we
for you
give our
guys.
breakout? I didn't give any of my breakout.
I didn't give
players.
any of mine. No,
fuck.
I totally.
All right.
Okay.
So who are some players you guys think are going to break out in the Western Conference?
You go first.
All right. So I've listed 3 guys. My number 1 guy, actually, I've listed 4 guys. 2 of them coming from the Dallas Mavericks. I think Jaden Hardy and Josh Green are going to have huge years for the Mavericks. I think they're both going to break out onto the scene. Josh Green with his defensive ability and Jaden Hardy with his scoring ability. The second guy I think that's going to break out is on the Utah Jazz, Ochai Agbaji. I think he's a natural-born bucket getter. I think he came along later in the season last year. I think the starting 2 guard should be his on that team, and I think he's really going to burst out onto the scene. And then my 4th guy, I think it's an obvious one, Shaedon Sharp.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have all the opportunity to show why he was drafted as highly as he was last year.
I'm gonna go with one that I felt like was pretty obvious over the offseason. I don't know that he's gotten so much hype as of recently, but Jonathan Kuminga. I think the Warriors are gonna need a lot from him. Just stole yours. I think they want him to be an athletic more athletic Draymond Green, and the Warriors are obviously masters at developing players. So I think Jonathan Kuminga is a pretty clear one, candidate at least. The other guy I'm gonna go with. We spoke about him a little bit earlier, Christian Brown for the Nuggets. Think with Bruce Brown gone, they're just gonna need him to do more, and they're coming off a championship season. They want to run it back. They're gonna look to get him involved sooner rather than later. And my last guy is going to be Keegan Murray.
Fuck, Tom.
Did I just take all 3 of your players?
Bro.
I-
No, 2 of them.
I was gonna say I literally said one guy. I literally looked at one guy and I was like, that might be Sully's guy, so I'll pivot and I picked. But I like Keegan Murray. One of the best 3-point shooting seasons from a rookie ever, and again another guy that should only get more integrated into that Kings offense. And we said they're not going to repeat what they did last year, but they still should be one of the better offenses in the league. So I'm excited to see what they get out of him.
Okay, so I feel like I'm going to go with a couple guys that a lot of people are expecting to break out. Should I keep Austin Reeves in this? Because I said Austin Reeves in my hot take. So should I give a different breakout player here or?
No, you can keep him.
Okay, so I as I said, Austin Reeves had a phenomenal playoff run throughout the second half of the season after Russell Westbrook was traded. I mean, look at what happened when Austin Reeves was trusted to be a lead ball handler for this team. So I said it before and I'll say it again. expect 22, 5, and 5 out of Reeves on 50, 40, 90 shooting for the entirety of the season. And I expect Austin Reeves to be the most improved player. Next up, he had a mini breakout last year, but then he got hurt, and it was unfortunate. And I said I love the Spurs young core, and I really do. It's Devin Vassell. One of the best volume three-point shooters, a great mid-range shooter. He's a guy that has the potential to be a real three-level scorer, which is a trend of the podcast today. He's a good defender, and I think he's a capable playmaker. He's stepping up in that regard. So, yeah, I think Devin Vassell is bound to have a incredible season for the Spurs if he stays healthy. And then the last one, I also mentioned it before, and we know he could fill it up, but it's just, can he do it efficiently? And I think this is the season he finally does it. I said it before, I'll say it again, Jalen Green. I think Jalen Green has a season where he averages close to 25 points per game, but more importantly than anything else with him, it's where's the playmaking and where is the efficiency at? And I think he'll shoot close to 45% from the field, probably around 37 from three, and I'm expecting somewhat of a playmaking jump from him as well. So if we could get all that, I mean, Jalen Green's going to be a fucking problem.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
1 year ago today was the first ever ball game bets, and Ortiz took Jonas Valanciunas' first basket.
Valanciunas.
That was his ball game bet?
First basket? Yeah. Oh, my God.
And a 4-leg parlay. He took
That's
the first
insane.
basket.
That's
Shout out
insane.
Jonas Valanciunas, man. Getting it done.
All right.
Okay.
That's the Western Conference.
Yep.
Ooh.
Wow.
It'll be
Basketball.
it's gonna be a year, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun one. A real
Really
fun one. I'll say that much. All right, here we go.
Football.
Now we flip over to the more fun sport. The NFL, Week 7. We're gonna do our pick'ems in a second, but prior to that, before we get into that, we're gonna talk about the Thursday night football game. And the Jacksonville Jaguars defeated the Saints 31-24. And Trevor Lawrence came into this one with a sprained knee and toughed it out and led his team in rushing.
I was gonna say he did not leave one with a sprained knee.
Toughed it out and led his team in rushing. So what are a few takeaways from this game? You guys could start on either side. Just let me know. What are we thinking? What do we feel about this game?
Josh Allen is one of the best edge rushers in the NFL, and he's having a career year.
Yep.
He had 10 total pressures in this game. He was making life miserable for Derek Carr. This Jaguars defense is legit. I keep fucking saying, and every week I feel like they keep getting better and better. I know they gave up 24 points in this game, but for a majority of this game, it felt like the Saints couldn't move the ball whatsoever. I mean, you know, Oluokun returned a fumble for 6, I'm pretty sure. Their secondary is balling the heck out. I mean,
Oluokun dominated in this game, bro.
yeah.
They didn't have Tyson Campbell. That's
No.
another one, too. And they did this without, you could argue, their best corner. Yeah, Tom, what are a couple of your takeaways?
I like the Josh Allen take. He is one of the best edge rushers in the league for sure. On the Saints side of things, I mean, their defense is really good. Shut down Calvin Ridley. He was a non-factor
Oh my
in this
God.
game. I know a lot of you are probably upset about that. But Christian Kirk, that was the guy. Told you. But anyway,
We hit again.
We did. Yeah, we hit again. Derek Carr did not look good.
Oh, boy.
And he underthrew a lot of passes. I thought it was weird, like when he yelled at Olave and Olave did, I guess, stop on the route, but Carr sailed that thing out of bounds.
Okay. So, all right. So we'll start with the Saints side.
Okay,
We'll
yeah.
dive fully into the Saints side first. Derek Carr, a lot of that game, was very angry. Yelling at everybody,
Yeah.
pretty much. Offensive coordinator, receivers, it didn't matter. Derek Carr was very aggravated, which is weird because he was such a cool, calm, collected person on the Raiders.
Yeah.
It just seems like he is pissed off on the New Orleans Saints. All right, so that throw to Olave. It was a bad throw, but Olave didn't even bother running.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
Like, even prior to him releasing the football, Olave slowed down as if he just wasn't going to get the ball on the play. So I understand where Carr's frustration is because Olave did that more than once in that game. He was quite obviously not giving 100% effort at multiple different points in that game. And that bothered me.
That one where he stopped running on the route, the play before he got hit in the helmet to helmet.
He did.
Oh, okay.
before,
He
got
did.
hit,
I
helmet to
forgot
helmet,
about that.
Derek
He
Carr
did.
does not care.
So. No, he does not.
Derek Carr does not care.
Derek Carr doesn't care. I don't care either. Be better, Chris Olave.
Yeah.
Scumbag.
Derek Carr he's been checking. I cannot complain because I have Alvin Kamara in a lot of leagues, but I almost think that Alvin Kamara is a bad thing for Derek Carr because he's just anytime he thinks twice about a throw, it's first read. Oh, it's not there. All right, Alvin Kamara's right here. Let me just throw it to
14
him.
targets.
Ridiculous. Alvin,
I don't think it's even the fact that he's just like pivoting to Alvin Kamara because it's Alvin Kamara. I don't think he's trusting the play calls. If you're just going through one read and pivoting
then
right
pivoting to your check
like
down.
that, you're just not trusting the play
Or
call.
the O-line,
your
too. Or the
protection,
O-line, yeah.
because both tackles were out.
Yeah.
They're a beat up offensive line right now.
Yeah.
They also are a wide open touchdown catch away from winning this game. So
Or tying it.
or
not
tying
winning.
it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Tying, not
Right,
winning.
right.
Their offense in the second half.
Yeah, they
second
came
half
alive.
came
Came
to
alive.
life.
The
yeah.
O-line came alive too. They were definitely getting a push on the run game.
Yes, they were.
So
Yes, they were. Kamara was running way better in the second half.
just rough with the Saints because they're in such salary cap hell.
They are.
So
Where
like
they need to be a good team.
right. So every time they lose, it's like, wow, what's next for the Saints?
Yeah.
But like, it's a long season. They're still in a shitty division that's wide open. Like they could still get into the playoffs. So I'm not like concerned for the Saints. You know, this game didn't tell me anything I didn't already
Right.
know.
Yeah. Carr also threw 55 times.
Said that
He's
last
been
week,
doing
too,
that,
when he
bro.
threw
He threw 50 times
yeah.
last week. Like it's way too much. You got to establish some sort of run game. Kamara's always been inefficient on the ground.
And also, they're starting these games.
Well, since
in
he's been the
hole.
lead ball
Right.
carrier.
Yeah.
They're starting in the hole.
True.
They started this game down by a shit ton. They had
Yeah,
to
yeah.
pass the ball.
But that also goes to the fact the offense can't fucking move it. And the defense has been able to. I think the Saints were actually like going into this game, they were the only team in the league that every one of their games hit the under. Every single one
Yeah.
of their games hit the under.
I seen that. I seen someone post that like, "Yo, take the under in this game," and that shit went over.
Way over. Way over
It
in
was
this
at
game.
40.
Yeah.
And the defense has been able to keep them in games, but it didn't happen in this one. And you can't rely on that every single game. I just want to say Trevor Lawrence looked phenomenal passing the football again. His numbers will not read that out to you, but he again looked great passing the ball. He's got to have the most mid-statistical season right now, but he's having a phenomenal
I was
year.
just gonna say like I want to see Trevor just have a monster like
he's going
game.
to.
Yeah.
It's
Because
gonna happen.
he looks like a great quarterback, but he just doesn't have like a monster like 303 game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's bound to happen.
Yeah. Not that he's not capable of it or the offense isn't good enough. It's just he's maybe things haven't gone his way. But the last thing for the Saints for me is like they kept like moving the ball down the field, and then on like second down they would just do something stupid or put themselves in a third and long, or just like they kept just shooting themselves in the foot on these drives. Like they would get down the field, and that's why they were down in the first half because they just couldn't finish drives.
They're in trouble. I think the offense will slowly figure it out, but they're lucky they're in a bad division.
Right.
They're lucky that they're in a bad division where all the teams in their division are pretty much 3-3 or fucking 0-6. So the Bucks, I don't think are a threat. Obviously, they look solid at the beginning of the season. I don't think they're a legitimate threat. The Falcons, when are they going to get their shit together?
Those three teams might be as big of a threat to each other as well. Like
They're
as
equally
crazy
as
that
bad
might
of a
sound.
threat.
Yeah, like
They
have a 33% chance to win that division, all three of them, and then the Panthers have a 1%.
a 0.1%. Yeah, it's rough. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think they're in trouble in terms of like winning their division because their division is so bad, but like it looks like it's slowly falling off the rails with how Derek Carr's reacting as well. Something needs to happen here. I don't know what it is. I think blame goes everywhere. Receivers, Derek Carr himself, offensive line, play calling, all that stuff. It goes everywhere. The defense held up its end of the bargain for all season, the whole season, except for this game.
Yeah, but as the season goes on and they get more wear and tear.
Let's also not forget there was a pick 6. So, like,
Yeah.
the defense didn't even give up 31.
Yeah.
They gave up 24. And there was short fields almost all night.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the defense is doing its best, but there's not much you could do. As for the Jags, I think they're legit. They're proving to everybody
I was
they're
just
legit.
gonna say, how far do we think the Jags can go?
That's a great question.
They're good. They're a really good football team, and they've got a really good quarterback under center.
It's a
but-
very tough AFC.
yeah.
To this point, it feels like Trev is just kind of coasting.
Doing what he has to do.
Yeah, doing whatever he has to do. But there will be games where he's asked to dominate.
Yeah. But that's what you want to see from him.
And he will.
Want to see that. Yeah, I think so.
I guarantee you he will. I think they're capable of winning a playoff game or two, but the AFC's loaded.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they will.
They sit at 5-2. I mean, they're gonna run away with their division. So
Oh, yeah.
that's not a question.
Yeah, their division is not good either. Texans and Colts are, like, decent, but the Titans are falling apart.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think the Jags are capable of winning a playoff game or two. But I don't think they're AFC champ. I don't think they're, like, in the tier of the Chiefs or the Ravens.
Greatest.
I don't know how I feel about the Dolphins.
Yeah.
They haven't had a big, like, they haven't played a team that has been legit yet. Yes, they smoked the team and put up 70, but look at their schedule and who they've beaten so far.
Yeah,
There's
Buffalo
not an
Bills.
impressive win here.
No, I'm playing.
The Bills smoked them.
Oh yeah, shit. That's
The
right.
Bills
I'm an
beat the
asshole.
fucking shit out of
Yeah, I'm
them.
an asshole. They got the break speed off them. That's right.
They haven't played a team that I've been super impressed by, like,
No, I
who
hear
they
you.
are.
We're going to Philly this weekend.
Yeah,
And they're gonna
that's the
lose.
test.
And they're gonna
Stomp
lose.
them
Wait
out.
till we do this pick 'em. They're gonna fucking lose
Oh
that
my
game.
God! Because you're gonna say in the pick'em that they're gonna lose. That's what's gonna happen.
Yes.
What do you mean? Wait till we do this pick'em.
No. I'm just
What do you
saying.
mean?
Like obviously I just gave away who I'm picking, but regardless, like,
Can only go one way or the other.
yeah, they're gonna. I think they lose by more than a touchdown to Philly.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Think they struggle against the top teams. You think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. So I need to see them beat a legitimate team. I don't think they're in that, like, top category of AFC contenders right now, but they're damn good. They're right on the outside of that.
We'll see. A lot
So-
of football left.
So yeah, I think that's all we really got for the Thursday night football game. I don't think there's too much more analysis. We got to really.
Give us a good primetime game. I say it every week.
That was a solid one.
It was our yeah. It was
That
good.
was a solid
That was a
one.
good game.
Yeah, it was a good
I
game. It was a
enjoyed
good
watching that game, to be honest. So yeah.
Give us more good primetime games. Is a better.
We're gonna go on Sunday night.
Hell yeah.
All right, here we go.
I kind of want to go
Yeah, it's
in Philly. Yeah,
How much are tickets?
expensive.
Are they
Cheapest
really?
tickets were like 400 beans.
Oh my God.
I will see you on the comfort of my from the comfort of my
Hey
own
man,
home.
you SeatGeek.
Yeah,
Zeke,
fuck
you
it.
can't even help me with that
SeatGeek
one.
can't help this one. SeatGeek can't help this one. All right. So I guess we'll hop right into this. We'll do all right, so who was your fantasy football start of the week?
It's got to be Jahmyr Gibbs, man. It's got to be his fucking time to shine. No David Montgomery. The other dude, Craig Reynolds, is banged up. It's got to be Jahmyr Gibbs' time. All he has to do is get into the end zone. That's all he has to do. And it'll be a successful fantasy week. It has to be Jahmyr Gibbs.
Who you got?
My start of the week is going to be JSN of the Seattle Seahawks. He played 72% of snaps last week. Plays a weak Cardinals secondary. Rookies take a little longer to develop than most receivers. I think it's his time. I think we've waited long enough, and I picked him up off waivers last week. So
They take a little bit longer to develop than other receivers.
I didn't know
where you were gonna go.
Yeah, I knew what I wanted
yeah.
to say, but I didn't know the best way to say it, so I fumbled.
I do
But
that shit all the time
okay.
too, so don't even worry
It's
about
okay.
it. All right, my start of the week, we're going to the tight end position, and it's Luke Musgrave. I think Luke Musgrave is due. His average depth of target for tight ends is among the best in the league. He's going against a team that just decides not to guard tight ends or anyone for that matter. It's the Denver Broncos. And I think he finally has one of those long touchdowns that he's been so close to having throughout the season. I think it's a big day for Luke Musgrave.
Unless Jordan Love just misses him.
He usually does. He usually does.
Overthrows him.
He always does. Worst completion percentage out of all qualified quarterbacks. So, yeah, he probably will.
Nice.
All right. Who was your fantasy football sit of the week?
It's got to be Kirk Cousins going up against the best defense in the NFL, the 49ers. No Justin Jefferson. Not starting Kirk Cousins if I have him. I'd rather start Sam Howell.
My sit of the week, I'm staying in your park. Alexander Madison, like you said, going up against the best defense in the league. I know I said it last week, and Jerome Ford had a good game, but I'm not going to be wrong 2 weeks in a row. So that's the logic.
Jerome did have a good week.
Yeah, he did.
It's
not going to happen twice. Don't worry.
All right. My sit of the week, we're all ready to throw him into our starting lineups. He's finally back. No. Just no. It's Jonathan Taylor. You're likely going to start him anyway, I would assume.
I was considering him, but I was like, bro, whoever has him in fantasy has to start him
so
anyway.
It's tough because exactly that. I was thinking about a bunch of running backs, and I was like, bro, it's so rough at the running back position right now that you can't
not
sit
these guys.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I'll just say, like, kind of just lessen your expectations this week for him. I don't think it's a good matchup for him, number one, against the great Cleveland Browns defense. Yeah, fuck, wow, I wish I didn't pick Jonathan Taylor now that I think about it.
It's all right, man.
But it is what it is.
Maybe you'll have a stinker. Maybe you'll be right.
No, I won't, because running back position sucks this year.
Well,
You could pick someone who's not playing.
He could have 11 points, and it's still a successful week for the running back position.
well,
It's rough out here.
you might not be right about that, but there's one thing we have been right about. That's our Thrive Fantasy.
Let's go!
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know, but get with the shits. Thrive Fantasy is hosting a contest all October. They're calling it Proptober. And the boys, I think we're currently in first place right now. We were tied for first place going into the week, and we hit a banger on Thursday Night Football. I hope you guys rode us and used code BallGamePod, because if you did so, you would get a first-time deposit match up to $250. Plus, you would have made whatever you won from riding our bet. So with that, for our ball game bets this week, I have DJ Moore over 4.5 receptions. I know it's that other guy playing quarterback and not Justin Fields.
Tyson,
but I'm still going to ride DJ Moore to get 5 receptions. I think he's going to target him because he's the best receiver on the team. That would help a quarterback in their first start, throwing to the best receiver on the team. And then, taking a risk. I'm risking it for the biscuit. Jahan Dotson over 33.5 receiving yards. It's just his time, man. It's just his time. It's just his time.
So before the show started, I said to Chris, I go, yo, I was considering making Jahan Dotson my start of the week. You have so many players in Thrive, though, to opt to choose from to win money. So you don't have to take that kind of a risk. For my pick,
I'd put it to lock. That's
It's not a risk. Like, what don't you understand?
I put Mark Andrews for over 51.5 receiving yards this week. And my second pick was I picked Drake London to have over 46.5 receiving yards this week. You could say it's a risk, but it's against the Bucs. Great run defense, and they could be had in the passing game, and Desmond Ridder apparently throws the ball 50 times a week now. So, and Drake London is the biggest beneficiary of that. So there you go. That's
My locks are Jahmyr Gibbs over 20.5 receiving yards, riding Chris's start of the week in fantasy.
I should have just taken that.
Jahan Dotson. And my second lock is Jalen Hyatt over 19.5 receiving yards. It's such a low line. And I know he doesn't play a ton, but I think
he plays a lot now.
I was going to say, they have to reach a point where they're like, our receivers are dog shit, and get this kid in there. And he could get it on one play. So I'm locking
I very much considered that for my picks.
Yeah.
That was like my third one that I would have picked. Yeah. All right. And there's our ball game picks. Last thing we're going to do. Yeah, I'm getting close to that point too. So there's going to be a game that I'm going to pick that I'm going to be like, fuck this, I don't care enough about it, so I'm not going to be here for it. All right, let's see.
So we don't start, right? We just got to entertain the people in the meantime.
No, I mean, we probably can start. There's enough time. Actually, you know what? We mentioned it before. I have to reach over. I can't press the button over there. It's so far. I was gonna do the other promo. It's so far. But anyways, yeah. Why not entertain the people for the next like minute and a half, 2 minutes? So Tom, how's the weather today, bro?
The weather? Man, we're never going anywhere if we got to talk about the fucking weather. I'm just saying.
Let me see. What do I want to talk about? There was something that I wanted to talk about, and now I'm just blanking entirely. People, let us know what you think of the setup right now. Obviously, we hung up a couple things. We're not done. We still have to hang up a flag over here, over the window, and we're probably gonna hang up a couple other things over there. If there's anything you guys think we should put up, or any changes you want us to make to the setup,
We are
let
getting
us
that
know.
stripper pole right there. Right.
No, we're
right
not,
there.
because I don't own this place, and I can't put a hole in the ceiling. So
I'll never know.
unfortunately, but outside of that, yeah, please feel free to let us know. Also, we already told you guys, if we win this competition, we get free tickets to any NBA or NFL game. So be sure to tell us what you think the locks are as well for our Thrive picks, because we want to give away those tickets to you guys if we catch that dub. So it's a big incentive for you guys to help us out.
Everything come out okay?
Yeah.
Good to hear.
All right.
Happy to hear that. All right, so here we go. This coming week, there are no London games, no morning games, so we don't got to worry about that.
They go to Germany next week,
They
right?
do go to Germany next week, yes. All right, so the first game, Cleveland Browns travel to Indianapolis to face the Colts. The Browns are 3.5-point road favorites. Who do we got?
I'm going to take the Browns. I think they're going to ride that momentum from beating the Niners last week.
Yeah, I feel like you have to take the Browns after they just knocked off the best team in football.
Deshaun Watson is back. I believe. He practiced, and apparently he is ready to go for Sunday's
In that case, I'm taking the Colts. PJ Walker. It's going to be him.
I'm taking the Browns as well. I think it's too much for Minshew mania. He had a rough week last week. He's about to have another rough one this week. Not a fun time. Poor guy. So yeah, taking the Cleveland Browns. Next up, oh boy, here we go. The Washington Commanders are in New York this week. Well, no, Jersey this week to face the New York Giants. The Giants are 3-point underdogs in this one.
No, they're not. The Giants aren't 3-point underdogs. The Commanders are 3-point favorites. Get it straight. It's the fucking Commanders. And I'll put $100 on it. if
I'm
you
not
want.
fucking putting anything on this game. Why would I do that? I know my team's bad.
Yeah,
Brother, I
Sam
work
Howell
like
was
22 hours a week. I can't put $100 on a Giants game.
Sam Howell was gonna have a career game. He's gonna dick you guys down. Jahan Dotson's gonna ball out. Sorry, that has to be the
All
score.
34 yards of it.
He's gonna get 32 yards.
You know what? That's why this is the perfect time to do a promo, because I already know I'm going to pick the Commanders. But in case you guys do want to go to the game, by any chance, it's in New York. Maybe the Giants catch a W because the Commanders, Sam Howell's throwing 4 picks on Sunday. But obviously, be sure to use code BallGamePod for $20 off your first purchase with SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best ticketing app on the market. They grade each deal on a scale of 1 to 10, with green being a good deal, red being a bad deal. It's pretty obvious. We all love SeatGeek. Everyone loves SeatGeek. But if you haven't made a first purchase yet, again, use code BallGamePod for $20 off that first purchase. Big shout out to SeatGeek. All right.
Who'd you take, Tom?
I'm going to take the Giants.
You feel good about that?
I never feel good about taking the Giants to win a game, but
Tom.
we're a holding call away from almost beating the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. I'm going to take them against the Commies.
Okay.
Tom.
Who'd you take?
The Commanders.
Oh, that's tough, man.
Bro, I don't think I'm going to pick the Giants for another game the rest of the season.
I mean, I don't want them to win because,
Caleb
it's better for our franchise if we lose.
or Drake?
But I think they can. So I'm going to take them.
I have no words on that one. Next up.
Chase Young might have 19 sacks, though.
Yeah, or
Tyrod will
any
find a way.
other
Yeah.
defensive linemen on the
Their
Commanders.
17th string defensive lineman might have. A career game.
Next up, the Atlanta Falcons are in Tampa Bay to face the Buccaneers. The Bucs are 2.5-point favorites. I'll let Chris start with this one. Who do you got, Chris?
I'm gonna take the Falcons. I think they need a bounce back, so they're gonna do that exactly that. Bijan's gonna have a big day. I cooked up the greatest parlay ever actually last night. I was in the PlayStation party with Mel and Rob Riley and Fern and all of them. Mel was like, yo, I have this profit boost that expires at midnight. I need a lock for college football tomorrow. I was like, no, Mel, you need a lock for the NFL this Sunday. Let me cook. So I did exactly that. So in this game, I took Bijan Robinson anytime touchdown scorer. I took in the Giants-Commanders game, Sam Howell, anytime touchdown scorer to run one in.
Whoa.
Yup.
Wow.
And then in the Lions-Ravens game, Jahmyr Gibbs and Zay Flowers both anytime touchdown scorer. And with the 50% profit boost, it came out to plus 16,000, $25 to win 4,000.
Whoa.
So we all took it. All of them took it in the PlayStation. They said, Rob was like, oh, well, that sounds like the stupidest parlay ever, but I know if everyone else takes it and I don't take it, that shit's going to hit. And I'm like, bro.
That is exactly my philosophy.
My logic,
when
yeah.
someone throws out a parlay, I'm like, if I don't take it and they win, I'm gonna feel really bad.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna lose my money.
Yep.
So ride, Tom.
No.
Ride. Come
I
on.
am absolutely
No, you guys
not
can-
riding
You guys
that.
can have it.
I'm going to make it out the slums, man.
It's gonna leave us.
All right, I'm taking the Falcons in this one. I think the Falcons win this game against the Bucs. They're due a bounce back. They need it.
Yeah, I'll take the
Hand
Falcons.
Bijan the fucking ball.
Yeah, I'll take the Falcons. Actually, no. My Baker Mayfield jersey just came in the mail the other day. I'm taking the
You
Buccaneers.
ordered a
Baker
Baker
jersey?
Mayfield
A
jersey?
Browns one, yeah.
Nice.
I did a promo with Fanatics before a few weeks ago, and
Look at
they-
Tom partnering up.
yeah,
Yeah, bro, I would love
I
it
didn't
if
do
we
a
could get
promo.
jersey
Sick.
sponsor,
I didn't do
bro.
a promo, but I got
Maybe
a
not
promo.
Fanatics, but like maybe even one of those fake Chinese websites. I
Yeah.
don't even care.
Oh.
If we could get a jersey
love it.
partnership, bro, that'd be sick.
But yeah, if you put in a $50 bet, they paid for a jersey.
Wow.
So it was like $150. I got a Kayvon jersey, and then I was like, you know what? Baker Mayfield's jersey was like $52. I was like, that's tough.
That's fire.
Nice white brown.
Baker on the
jersey.
Browns is dope.
Yeah, I'm gonna order jerseys soon. I need to get a Ramsey Miami jersey.
Yeah.
That's a cool jersey. That is a dope jersey. I was thinking to I'm so happy I didn't get Giants jerseys. So fucking happy.
I got Kayvon, and
was-
the jersey came like after week 2. And I
Oh,
was
so you were
like,
already defeated.
Jesus Christ, I just spent all this money on this.
I was
guy.
gonna get a
Why didn't I
Darren-
just get Saquon like a normal person?
I was gonna get a Darren Waller and a Daniel Jones one. I
Christ.
am very happy I did not do that. All right. Next game, Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. Bills are 7.5 road favorites. 7.5-point road favorites.
They need to.
It's the Bills.
It's the
Yeah,
Bills.
Over for the
They
Patriots.
need to jack that line up
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
7.5 is generous. I mean, it's the Bills.
Yep. All right, next up. The battle of the backups. The battle of the goddamn backups. Is it Brian Hoyer starting? Do we have official?
Is it
is.
Brian Hoyer?
It is.
Brian
Oh
Hoyer
my
versus
God.
Tyson Badgett. That's the stupidest decision ever.
Wow.
It should be
Surprised
Aiden
that's not a
O'Connell.
primetime game.
So the Raiders are in Chicago, and they are 2.5-point road favorites. I don't know who I'm taking in this one.
I was all set to take the Raiders in my survivor pool, and then Jimmy Garoppolo got listed as out, and I'm like, you know what? It's the Bears. Is Jimmy Garoppolo really doing that for me? Like, that's the difference maker? I still might take them, but I'm going to go the
He's
Raiders.
that big of a difference maker against Brian Hoyer.
Well, yeah, I was going to say.
When you're playing
then I realized
Tyson
Brian
Badgett.
Hoyer, was the backup. But yeah, I'm still going to take the Raiders.
Chris?
I'm taking the Raiders. I trust the veteran leadership of
Yeah.
Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, I just think their defense is a little better and has played well the last couple years, weeks. So I think the Raiders take this one as well. All right, another big test. It seems like every week it's a different test for the Detroit Lions. They travel to Baltimore to face the Ravens. The Ravens are currently 3-point favorites at home.
This should be a good one.
This is going to be a fun one.
This might be the game of the week.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens here. I think the Lions are just due to lose. It's that simple.
I think the Ravens want this one. I'm going to take Baltimore as well.
I think the Ravens need this
Yeah.
one.
Last time the Ravens played the Lions, if I'm not mistaken, was when Justin Tucker hit the longest field goal in NFL.
NFL
Oh, yeah.
history. Yep.
That's right. The Lions just kept losing in like the most heartbreaking ways.
Yep. I'm taking the Lions. I changed my mind. I'm taking the Ravens. I think the Ravens win this one. Although I do think it's a close game for much of the game.
I think it's a
I
good
really
game.
do think it's a very good game.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch this one. All right, next up. The Los Angeles Rams are at home to face the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're currently 3-point favorites.
I'm rocking with the Steelers on this one. Coming off the bye week, I'm pretty sure Deontay is back. I think
Yeah,
the
he is.
Steelers got this one.
I'm also going to rock with the Steelers.
I just think the Rams make Pickett uncomfortable enough. And
I think the OC does that all by himself. So.
I think Pickett might do that by himself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams. The Steelers are 3-2 and have no business being 3-2. It's about time they're going to be back to
They
500
really are the
again.
most as fraudulent as a 3-2 team could be.
Yeah, I'm going to take the
It's the
Rams.
Steelers.
I'm taking the Rams. Next up, the Seattle Seahawks are at home against the Arizona Cardinals and currently slated as 8.5-point favorites. I'm taking the Seahawks.
It's the Seahawks. They need this one.
Yeah, it's the Seahawks.
Okay. Not much to say. Kansas City Chiefs are at home against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites.
This would be the game the Chargers
win,
Yeah.
but I ain't predicting it.
But I'm not taking I was going to say I'm not taking them. I'm taking Kansas City
Kansas City.
every time.
Fuck it. I'll take the Chargers.
Wow. That's my team.
I'll
You're
take
Chris's.
the Chargers in this one. Just off vibes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next up,
You took the Chiefs?
I took the Chiefs. The Denver Broncos are at home against the Packers. Pretty much a pick'em game. The Packers are 1.5-point favorites.
It's the
Broncos can play
Packers.
more Catholic, and I think I would struggle to pick them to win.
Yeah, it's the Packers.
You picked the Broncos after saying that.
Yeah, obviously. No, I'm going to take the Packers.
I'm taking the Packers as well. The Miami Dolphins, here it is, the Sunday night football game. Travel to Philadelphia to face the Eagles, and the Eagles are 3-point favorites.
I mean, it's the Dolphins. PFF put out a graphic yesterday. Teams with the toughest remaining schedules in the NFL this year. Number 1 was the Dolphins. Number 2 was the Bengals. This is just the start. Tua is going to run through this gauntlet. The Dolphins are going to win the AFC East, and Tua is going to earn the respect that he should have been given this whole time. And it starts Sunday night in Philadelphia. Fuck the Eagles.
The Eagles at home in primetime. I'm taking the Dolphins.
They're a real.
I don't see it with the Eagles. I think the Dolphins are that good of a team, and not that the Eagles aren't a good team. I think they're gonna knock them off. I don't think the Eagles are gonna go shot for shot. For
Eagles defense isn't going to be able to stop the Dolphins.
No.
And I agree. I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to go
And if
shot
it's
for
just-
shot.
Everyone's
I don't
getting
think the
healthy
Eagles
for
can
this
do it.
Philadelphia Eagles team.
Oh, that's nice.
That pass rush is scary. Think they make Tua uncomfortable in this one. And I said that Jalen Hurts was due for a big game, and this is the game in prime time. Jalen Hurts reminds everybody that he is that guy. And I think the Eagles beat them by like 10, honestly. So the Dolphins, man, if the Eagles win this game, we're gonna have to have conversations about like them being like unable to
They
beat
have
the good teams.
all season to beat good teams. They
Okay.
have the toughest schedule in all football.
Good.
Even
Can't
if
wait.
they lose this one, they have all season to
Okay.
change the narrative.
All right. Last and probably least, the San Francisco 49ers travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. The 49ers are 7-point favorites. And I'm going to be honest, probably would have given them a little bit more. No Justin Jefferson, obviously, once again, for the Minnesota
Home field
Vikings.
advantage is overrated. Between that and the Bills game, that's what I've learned.
Yeah, I'm taking the Niners in this one pretty handily.
Yeah, it's the Niners.
Yeah, it's the Niners.
Okay. All right, well, I believe that is everything.
I think so. Yeah.
Wow, what a pod. That was a long one. There was a lot of stuff to cover in that one. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We have an emergency podcast coming out Monday so that we could give you guys our NBA awards predictions. We'll figure out what time. We'll probably let you guys
Wait.
know.
late. Yeah.
Most likely late. And then Tuesday, same thing. It's going to be a late podcast while the NBA is on. So tune in while you guys are watching the NBA. That's going to be our football recap and pretty much just our live reactions of NBA opening night. So again, leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us on all of our socials. Be sure to go check out all of our other podcasts, any of our clip outs that we have. There's a Justin Herbert one up right now. Me and Chris had some heated debate about Justin Herbert a little bit.